we are, Matt. Matt is okay.
Hoines.
Hoines. Yeah, because I always said Matt Hoines.
Yep, that's pretty common.
Yeah. Yes, that E. He actually put the E in there.
Yep.
When you say it. So.
Yep.
Matt Hoines from Silencer Central.
Yep.
Oh, I guess that's where you work.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Been there a little over 2 years now. So.
Yep. Cool. How's that going?
Good. I love it. Yeah. I mean, I was doing in sales for a while before, and kind of had a manager that kind of got me to come over and look. And I think I was telling you before, like I walked in the building on suppressors and guns. And I'm like, this is what I need to be doing with my life. So
Right.
Yeah. So now it's been, I said, a little over 2 years, and I love it for sure. Just going to shows and all that too. It's cool to meet people in the industry and just getting to talk. I talk hunting and guns every single day. So
Yeah. It's
pretty awesome.
Can't ask much more than that, honestly.
No, for sure. No.
What'd you do before?
I was doing car sales before, so I did right out of college. I did a lot of lawn care, and then went into car sales. I just had a buddy that kind of got me into doing that. I was actually kind of wanting to do my own lawn care stuff, business, and then got into sales and was doing pretty good, and then stayed there I was selling cars for a little over 3 years, and then, like I said, I had a manager that came to Silencer Central and then kind of got me to switch. So
He's the car sales manager?
Yeah, he was my old car sales manager.
Okay.
Yep, and then he went to manage Silencer Central, and he took a different job, but...
Oh, he's not.
He's not my manager anymore now, but no, it all worked out good, so...
Where'd he end up going?
He took a different managing position out of Camping World, so...
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So was he like into guns and all that stuff before?
No, not as much. He was more of kind of like this like sales manager type deal, and I think that's kind of too, just part of it, So I think if you're not in this industry, I think you don't love it. It's kind of going to a lot of those shows and stuff. If people don't care about that, it's harder to. Like for me, I love that stuff. I think that's awesome,
right.
But some people don't. So
it's one of those things too, where you're working for a company like Silencer Central. And you want, if I owned it, I would want guys that are passionate about shooting and hunting and shooting.
Yep.
Because you can see through that stuff a lot.
For sure.
When you're out there trying to sell, you're a sales rep. People come and talk to you. They know what your job is. Like, he's going to try to get me to buy this, and that's fine because I'm interested. So it's like, but you can see through that if you're talking to someone that's just purely a salesman and they don't really. You can see that pretty quick. Like, it's pretty obvious once you get to talk, and you're like, I'm not going to buy from this guy because he doesn't really know what he might know the product, and he might be good at memorizing some lines, but he doesn't really understand how this shit works.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely get people that you can just tell, that they're asking you questions and kind of trying to lead you into, like, does this guy actually know about calibers or rifles or what kind of gun I have, So, like, definitely, like, a guy tells me something, I'm like, oh, you got that model, that's the thread pitch or whatever it is. Like, oh, shit, this guy actually,
Yeah.
That's what's cool about, like, this sales too versus, like, car sales. Like, everyone needs to buy a car. It's just kind of, you got to buy a car.
Right.
But suppressors is, you don't need it, but it's a want, So that's why it's like, it's kind of a different experience with a customer too, because I don't feel like I have to push as much, or like if I do, like if I hard close someone or whatever, like you get the suppressor, you're going to love it. Like you're going to call me, hey Matt, this is badass. Like, which is awesome versus, cars and stuff is different. You're not like the car or whatever, but like I said, suppressors, if I know for a fact, you're going to love it. Like if I can get you to buy it, you're in. Like that's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like one of those things where, like you said, at this point, you basically need a car in order to make it anywhere. You need to be able to get to work and get around, and you need a vehicle. So it's a need, not necessarily just a want. So, like me, I'm not a car guy. I'm not big into cars and shit. I'm not a mechanic. But when I go out to buy a vehicle, I look at it as more of a chore.
Yep.
So I'm like,
100%.
fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to buy a new vehicle. I have to because my other vehicle is taking a shit. So I have to go do this, and I'm not excited to be there. I'm not excited for the sales pitch and everything else. I'm like, just tell me not a piece of shit that can get me around. And then when you're buying a silencer, it's like, I'm excited to do this. I finally saved up enough money. I'm ready to hear the pitches. I'm ready to talk to the sales guys. I'm ready to make a purchase.
Yep.
So it's probably a little bit easier of a sale once people are ready, I guess.
100%.
They are ready.
It is for sure. And it's a lot of it just is with suppressors is the process. And because, your fun toys aren't cheap, no matter what, you're buying a cheap can or you're buying the top one or whatever, it's not cheap, and you got to go through ATF and wait whatever, like 8 months, whatever the wait time is at that time. So it definitely is a kind of just a different process for sure. And that's like where a lot of people are hung up, because you don't want to give me $1,200, wait 8 months and not like it, or, that's a big barrier too. So that's why where we do come in a lot is make the whole process super simple for customers to just essentially give me money, sign some things, make sure everything looks good, and we kind of handle everything for them. So
yeah, I was gonna say, so what's the exact process? Like, how would you do it if you weren't? Because Sounds Essential, you said you guys make it super super easy.
Yep.
Like, what would the process look like if you were to do it yourself through a different company?
Yeah, so you'll have so like with us, you essentially, you kind of have 5 steps. Talk to you over the phone. We get all the info. Same stuff, when you're buying a gun. Everyone's filled out that paperwork. Then you got to send us a photo, fingerprints, and then I said signatures, and we essentially kind of verify everything with you, make sure spelling, social, all that stuff is correct. Get you submitted, but then, buying elsewhere, you have to do all that yourself. There's Form 4 you have to fill out. There's Clio notifications they have to send to your chief law enforcement to let them know that you're purchasing a suppressor. So there's definitely a lot more steps and hassle. And like a huge thing with us too is we do a trust, so you can add other people so they can use a suppressor. You can put family or friends so they can use a suppressor you can pass it down to. So we handle all that, do amendments versus like if you went and bought it yourself, you're going to pay a lawyer a couple $100 to set up a trust. You get approved, you're going to pay him money to do an amendment on it, to add people on there. So that's where we step in and just handle all of that for you. So
yeah, it sounds pretty smooth, honestly. I've thought about, it's been a few years where I'm like, I want to get a silencer or a suppressor, whatever you want to call it. Which I like, I call it a silencer just because, I don't know.
Whisper pickle.
That's welcome. Yeah, whisper pickle. Yeah. Can, suppressor, silencer, whatever you want to call them. I tend to go towards silencer just because I don't think the anti-gunners are really going to care if you call it, whatever you call it, they're still going to hate you for it. So it doesn't really matter. But, you guys do make it very easy and seamless to buy a silencer, especially when you're dealing with the ATF and all the other forms and other bullshit you have to go through. It's like, it's really just a one-stop shop. And you said you have to send something to the chief law enforcement officer. Do you have to send that to their?
Yeah, like to their county.
I'm in Mitchell County. You guys are in South Dakota. You guys have to send it to my sheriff.
Correct. Yep.
But you're sending it on my behalf.
Yes. Okay. Yep. We're doing that all for you. Yep. But we're doing a lot of that stuff on your behalf because there is, and that's that law enforcement. It's notifying like, hey, Jacob Johnson is approved for a suppressor, and it's kind of like making sure you didn't go rob a bank or do something, in that time from when ATF approved you to when like, hey, you're local, like kind of last double check. It's all good. And then we ship it to your door too. So, once it's approved, we just mail it out to you. And we have FFL, SOTs in all 42 states that suppressors are legal in. So we can sell to anyone who's legal to buy them. So,
So can the chief law enforcement, like your sheriff, can that guy deny it?
No, it's a notification.
Okay.
Yep. Correct. Yep.
So that's kind of nice. So if he's just getting it, so he's like, okay, I know this dude. I know Jake over there does a lot of drugs.
Yeah,
he's a big meth head. He just hasn't been caught yet.
Exactly.
So I'm going to keep an eye on him.
Yep.
So just notify him, like, all right, this dude's got a fucking assassin. He's trying to turn into an assassin over here. So
yeah.
But no, that makes it a lot easier. We were talking about this some last night. You came in last night and we tried to do some coyote hunting.
Yeah. Weather permitting. Non-permitting, I guess.
It didn't really turn out too well.
Yeah.
It started snowing like crazy. But we were talking about that some last night about, Hollywood and making them seem like they're like, they just take your gun and make it.
Yeah. Just puke.
Nothing.
Yep.
Yep. So like if you came into my house and shot me with a Silencer Central on a fucking AR-15 in my bed, would whoever's in the next bedroom, would they hear it?
Yeah. They would. Yeah, exactly. It's still. I think a very good example I like to say is our Bannister, our most popular suppressor. that'll make your AR, the pan barrel length, all that stuff, 3 to 6 decibels quieter than a 22. So to put that in reference, it's very good. Like if you ever run a 1022 with like a 22 short or a 22 CB, it's very similar to that sound. So there is still sound. So it's not, silent. And the big advantage of like hunting is kind of like we were talking about before, you break that sound barrier, but that's also non-directional. So when you're out actually hunting or shooting coyotes, I tell everyone, if you're calling coyotes, you have 3 of them coming in, you shoot from the back. If you can get them all to stop, you shoot from the back because they'll hear that crack and they'll hear that bullet whack their buddy. And it's not like they're just going to start running at me, but it's confusing. It's like, I don't want to say disorientating, but they just can't pinpoint like that's where that sound came from. So that's that big advantage of you can get a second shot, or you can switch calls, you can just whoop whoop at them, and you'll get them to stop still. Versus if you're not shooting the suppressor, they can pinpoint it and they're tucking tail and running.
Yep. So exact opposite direction from you, running away from you.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not quiet. It's not like movies or James Bond or whatever, but it makes it hearing safe. You're not wearing, no hearing protection needed. You're not damaging your ears. A lot less recoil too, which is another awesome thing, especially bigger calibers. You can shoot, see where you hit, see where you miss, stay on target a lot easier too. So there's definitely huge advantages there just as a hunter, actual use of it. So
and it helps with recoil management quite a bit too, right?
For sure. Yeah. I tell everyone I got a 300 Win Mag. It kicks like a 223 or 243. It's quieter than a 22. So
would you say recoil management wise, does it help as much or better than having a compensator on it?
Yeah, for sure. A brake. Yeah, so
a brake. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so and I kind of like to explain to people. Think of a suppressor. So you have a muzzle brake that'll have the ports on the side. You got 3 ports or whatever it is. Like our Banner 30 has 8 baffles in it. Kind of think of it like an enclosed port with 8 baffles. It's gonna take away, like I said, it's about 40% recoil. It also helps to stop a lot of the muzzle rise too. You are adding a little bit of length on the end of there, so you have less recoil. But even when you shoot, like I shot a mule deer and he was a little over 300 yards. But, I shot and literally watched him drop in my scope. Like I didn't have to shoot, find him again. Like I shot, watched the bullet hit him, watch him drop right there in the scope. So that's where that really comes in play, and you can really tell, or like I've never scoped myself honestly before I started shooting suppressors, and now like we do a lot of coyote hunting and it's on a tripod, and it's just something that I don't consciously think of anymore of like make sure it's shoulder, because
it's so much easier.
Yeah, like I said, I've been so used to shooting suppressors now, not really noticing the recoil. Where the other night the coyote was going by and I just went and shot him quick and scoped myself because I just didn't think of shouldering it fully, So like, it's kind of funny how some of that stuff changes too. It's like I said, I've never done that before, and I've done it a couple times now. Shooting with suppressors.
Yeah, so. I fucking scoped myself with my muzzleloader. One time, like really bad. Like, so I was shooting with my muzzleloader. I would shoot a CVA Wolf.
Yep.
And I was shooting 150 grains. So 3. I used the pelletized. Yep. So I was using 3 pellets of 777.
Yep.
Right. And I was like, yeah, that's working pretty good. It's heavy. Like it hits really hard. It's a Magnum load. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's doing pretty good. Yep. I was shooting that for quite a while. But then I went to the store. I needed some more. I went to the store, and they didn't have 777s, but they had white hots. I'm like, oh, I've heard good things about white hots too. Mm-hmm. So I went back home. I threw 3 white hots in there, loaded it up, shot. I'm like, holy shit, that is a lot more.
Yeah.
So I loaded up another one. Take my time. So with muzzleloader, I really like to take my time when I'm dialing in my scope and trying to re-zero and stuff. I'll shoot once and then I'll adjust. I really love, especially with newer shooters, I'll tell them like 3-shot group and we adjust. Yep. We want to see how you're shooting.
Yep.
I'm pretty confident, especially with muzzleloader. I don't want to load 3 rounds up, shoot 3 times just to find out it's not working appropriately, right?
Yep.
So anyways, I shot once, kind of adjust my scope, went to shoot a second time, and that second time came back and fucking whacked me right in the eye. I'm like, damn it. And then I started to bleed. I was bleeding a little bit. Like, okay, it's not too bad. Whatever. And then I looked at it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a little more off. I'm like, it was off like quite a bit more. I'm like, what the fuck? So I didn't adjust it that time because if it's that far, I'm saying it was pretty far off from my first shot. So I didn't adjust anything. I wanted to shoot again just to see if it's hitting the same area.
Yep.
And I took my time. I'm fucking relaxed. Shoot again. Boom! Same thing. I'm like, fuck! And this time it hurt real bad. And I put my hand on my face, and there's a little bit of blood. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it's not that bad. Then I pulled my hand away, and I just felt like blood dripping into my eye. Like, oh my God, there it is. Yeah. So I went and ran into the bathroom, and I put some toilet paper on my eye, and I pulled it off, and I could see my skull. I'm like, oh shit. Wow. Like, that's deep. So I butterfly sutured it up and band-aided it all up. It looked like it looked a lot worse than it actually was. It didn't hurt that bad.
Yeah.
But I was
just
like,
the other guy.
Yeah, right? I was all fucking pissed off. Like, I've never done that before, and I just did it like twice in a row.
Yeah. No, I know. It just, you don't think about, like I said with spray, you just don't. I just consciously don't, or subconsciously I say, I just, no, it's not, I always grew up, shoulder it, make sure it's in there, but it's just. Yeah.
So with that said, can you suppress a muzzleloader?
Smokeless stuff you can.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually their Silencer Co., they called it a Maxim 50 that they had like a suppressed muzzleloader. It is really tough with, just how it is, loading the powder in there. They shoot dirty.
They're dirty as fuck.
Yeah, we do honestly, we have a lot of guys that are getting into like that higher end smokeless powder muzzleloader and stuff, and you definitely can. 45 cal, there's nothing really that you can run with a 50. I guess you could technically, but yeah, no one really does it, I guess. Yeah. So,
well, that's another thing. I was watching Grand Thumb. He's a gun tuber.
Yep.
He fucking suppressed his Barrett 50 cal.
Yep.
Like, ooh.
Yep, for sure. So Barrett they have a QDL for their M107A1. They have a can specifically built for that. So
that's pretty badass.
No, it is for sure. Yeah.
You ever shot a 50?
I haven't, no, honestly. Yeah.
It's different. Like especially the Barrett 50 cal, since it's semi-auto and they have such a huge buffer spring on them.
Yep.
It kicks a lot. Like, but it's not as sharp.
It's like a push more.
It is. It's more of like a really hard push, not a punch.
Yep.
Like you shoot I shoot a Springfield 1903, just a 30-06 out of a wood, like walnut stocked bolt action. That thing hurts more than a Barrett 50 cal. And you'd be surprised at how much more tolerable a Barrett 50 cal is than like your grandpa's 30-06.
Yeah. No, we have, just like for show, we have a few different guns we bring. We got 338 Lapuas, but it's kind of like the same thing, like 375. That recoil on that 375 is kind of just like that push, versus like that 338 it's sharp, it's a punch kind of, but so I definitely know what you're talking about there.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with just the length of the case too, probably. Like you have those shorter magnums, like the 300 Wisdom and whatever, like the 300 WSM.
Yep.
The Winchester short mag. It's like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I've shot that a couple times, and I feel like that kicks a little bit more than.
Like you got a lot of powder in that short case.
Yeah, it's just
burn it fast.
Yeah, exactly. It just feels like it's really sharp.
Yep.
Like you put it up to a machine, it might say it's actually however many foot-pounds less than a 300 Win mag, but it doesn't really feel like it.
Yeah, your perception. Yeah, no, for sure.
No.
Yeah.
But those long, extra, like super long action, like the 375s and the Barrett 50 cal. It's a really long, big fucking cartridge. I think there's one behind you, actually.
I was looking at that earlier, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just huge.
It's a big ass fucking round, dude.
Yeah.
It was nice and long. It's not a short, fat guy. It's a nice long cartridge. So it's like, it probably doesn't, maybe that's another reason why too. It doesn't feel like it just beats the shit out of you.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
But no, it's good. I'd never thought about suppressing them before, but
yeah, no, and in 50s, you're not going to be hearing safe or anything, but you can, like I said, just a lot of that rapport too is a big deal. Like I was telling you, like, one of our coworkers has a 13-year-old daughter and shot a doe with a 7 mag. It's taking away that recoil, but it's also taking away that big percussion that you feel every time you pull the trigger. So
yeah,
that helps a lot too, because we were talking about people flinching and stuff, like we see it and everyone sees it, or, whoever shot guns has done it before, and that can help a ton with that, because it's not only just the recoil hitting your shoulder, it's that percussion you feel, especially if you have a big break or something, which, helps keep your gun steady and still, but you can feel it still, or you got a buddy sitting next to you, or a guide, or
right,
anything like that. Like, we talk to guides all the time, and they're like, I wish everyone would shoot a suppressor, you know, because they're over your shoulder talking right there, and
you have a big ass break on a 300 Win Mag, or you know, something like that. Then you're like, all right, man, here you're being quiet, and he's like, all right, man, you know, put it right on him. Here we go. Boom! Like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I'm sure half those guides too, they probably don't like put an ear probe before maybe they're plugging their ears with their fingers and stuff.
Turn their head. But you want to watch to see if you hit it too, you know.
Right,
so
you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It'd be fun being a guide, but yeah, that would be nice. I'm sure it's very respectful of them.
Yeah.
You know? We were talking about that a little bit last night too, about how different it is in America getting a silencer or a suppressor or whatever. Getting a silencer in America as compared to like some other places like New Zealand. Mm-hmm. They're the complete opposite of us, where it's a lot harder to get a gun in New Zealand than it is America. But you can buy a fucking can.
At Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware in New Zealand. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. No, it is nuts. Like how, because like we were talking, like our owner Brandon went to Africa, and he said it was kind of different because they have suppressors there and everything, but it was like their thoughts on them were completely different. Like, you know, like our suppressor, our banister, titanium, lightweight, gonna last forever, lifetime warranty, all that, because here in America it's a process. You got, you know, like we kind of said, you got to go through the wait time, get approved from ATF, all that. Where he said there, you know, you just go to the hardware store and you buy it over the counter. And he says it's kind of, a lot of them are aluminum, lighter. It's kind of more of a, you buy it, you use it for a little bit, throw it away, buy a new one, you know? So it's kind of crazy. And he said like too, how like a lot of people were impressed how just the quality and how quite like comparative, you know, cause I've been around other suppressors too. There's a bunch of good companies out there, and there's some that just aren't as good, you know? So it's kind of cool too when you go around or see, or like we went out to Wyoming, like, you know, there's a couple suppressors out there, and then we show up with our Banish 30 and shoot the same gun, you know, just literally switch the cans. Like, yeah, that one sounds a lot better. You know, so it is cool too to kind of see differences of different cans. So,
is that something with like does the material you use make it quieter too? Or is it just
it can change it can change the tone a little bit. So we do a lot of like Banish, our brand. We do titanium. We're kind of built lightweight hunting, and we want to be as light and as quiet as possible. Where there are, you know, other companies that are built more tactical use, flash suppressant in military, where that's a lot bigger deal if you're actually, you know, in warfare. Flash is going to get you killed. You know, if they see where you're at. You know, so there are some suppressors that are built a lot different, so tone can be different, like stainless steel or Inconel. Some of that just has a lower tone. So, like, you know, kind of like you're talking about, like a meter for recoil. You know, you could have a suppressor that's titanium and a suppressor that's stainless steel, and they can decibel meter essentially identical. But like our human ears, it's like, oh, that one sounds. You know, some people think titanium sound a little better. Some people like the kind of lower tone of steel. So it can change that a little bit for sure. Definitely most common is stainless steel for sure. Titanium is just, it's harder to machine. Got to be more precise, more tooling. And like I know I have friends that do machining, and they actually do some stuff with us, and, you know, they just said like that titanium just eats away at other stuff. So they're like, we're having to swap it a lot more often than, you know, anything else. So I think that's part of it too, is just, it's harder to make it and to make it precise, but you also get the advantage of, you know, like I said, it's lifetime. It's, you buy the one can, and you don't have to buy another one, but you will because you love them. Right. You know, but like, you don't have to, you know, it's,
exactly. Because that is kind of the thing with titanium and stainless steel. Like, stainless steel is cheaper, more abundant. Titanium is obviously going to be more expensive, but it's going to last a lot longer. And it's the biggest thing, like you said, it's lighter. It's a hell of a lot lighter. And in a hunting situation, it's, you know, a lot of people appreciate the fact that, you know, like, okay, so to bring this back to like bow hunting type of deal, so it's like, how much more FOC are you adding to your gun with a stainless steel suppressor than titanium? You know, it's like and that definitely can, you know, because that's one thing that is always tough. Is like, you know, you have a customer,
that they go through the process and they buy a suppressor, and maybe they bought a cheaper one and it's a heavier suppressor, and they have a cheaper gun, maybe not a higher end gun, or it's just kind of a more entry level, and they get the suppressor, they put it on there, now their gun's not grouping good. It's really hard to tell a customer, like, it's not the suppressor. If you're not having baffle strikes or that bullet's not touching it, it's your gun that is starting to mess up, or that difference in harmonics is kind of pointing that out. So that's where, again, titanium, if you're not adding as much weight onto there, it can help out with that too. So
sure. Yeah. Yeah, because, you can only hang so much shit off your barrel before it's like, you're not,
yep.
You're changing the whole structure of your...
Exactly. Yep. You're changing harmonics no matter what. And there's suppressors out there that, no point of impact or minimal or point of impact. Like, to me, that's all kind of BS. You're adding weight, you're adding length, you're changing some stuff. There are some guns, like I have a gun that I can throw my can on there, it shoots identical without a can or with a can. But most of my guns, they're going to be off a little bit. And it's nothing crazy, but you're generally, like, in my experience, 1 to maybe 4 or 5 inches low at 100 yards or at 200, whatever you zero at. Just kind of, again, because of that recoil, that less muzzlerize your bullets, your gun's just not jumping up as much,
Yeah.
It's a big misconception. A lot of people think, like, Call of Duty, you put a suppressor on there, your range goes down, your damage goes down, and like that's unfortunately that's a thing, but like in real world, it's not like that. You're adding a little bit of barrel length technically, so you're going to gain a little bit of velocity. Not really anything to write home about at all. Like I can tell, like my Leupold, I didn't change custom turrets or anything like that from when I had my gun and got it doped without the suppressor to when I got approved for my suppressor and put it on. Like, that's not going to change. It'll change your point of impact, but, again, just titanium, it's going to...
minuscule.
Exactly. So, resight in one time, and you're good to go,
So, with, you said you have a gun that it didn't really change at all, right?
Yep.
Was that a thicker barreled one?
It was. Yeah, it's actually a thicker barrel, shorter gun. So, I think just from... And I'm not just a full-out expert. From my experience, I have seen... Maybe some, because it's a big trend, some of the lighter guns, shorter barrels are super light. Maybe you'll have a little bit more of point of it just because you're adding, you're changing the harmonics more than a heavy barrel that just is a big brick out there. You know what I mean? That's not, adding if you have 10 ounces on the end, it's not really changing a ton versus you got a 6.2 pound gun with everything on there. You're putting, another 3/4 pound on there. That's
kind
of a difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be completely different than if I put... So I have a Ruger American, which is, in my opinion, one of the best guns you can buy for $500.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a $500 gun. It's fucking pretty awesome. But it's got a pencil barrel. It's one of those skinny barrels.
Yep.
And I bet you if I put a suppressor on it, it'd change, it'd change quite a bit. So I'd have to adjust it and re-zero and all that stuff. But, if I went out and bought, a nicer, like, say, a Remington 700, which I don't, an older one, pre all of the other shit, but bought a nicer, older Remington 700 with a bull barrel on it, like those, they have those, like, I don't know what they call them.
Varmint profile.
Oh, shit. Like the thicker bull type barrels, just the bigger, heavier, thicker barrels.
Yep.
I've never done it, but I'm assuming that wouldn't change as much.
Yeah, no, that's kind of from my experience too. What I've seen is just, like I said, you're changing the harmonics, you're changing a lighter gun's going to recoil more, so you're taking away more recoil. All that. Comes into effect there. So, but like I said, that is once you get the can, you can have 5 different guns and use the one can on it. Now I have a couple suppressors, but you can swap the one from your 300 Win to your 270 to your 223 to your 204 Ruger to your 17 HMR if you want. Like I said, once you sight in once, you're not having to recheck or that zero or anything like that. Your baffles are going to be clocked all the same. You have the same start and end point every time you screw it on. So,
So that, okay, because your Banish line, the Banish 30.
Yep.
That's, so when you name them, the Banish 30, the Banish...
Yep, so
45.
Yeah, so we have...
So it goes by caliber.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So Banish 22, that covers all your rim fires, 22 mags, 17s, even like FN's little 5.7 by 28, so a couple center fire stuff. Going up would be a Banish 223, and that's 224 Valkyrie, and down to rim fires. So a big advantage, like our banish suppressors, they are titanium. You can take them apart to clean. So that serviceability allows you to run them on rim fires, or if you shoot a lot of gas guns, they shoot dirtier. That's just how they are, So being able to take it apart and clean is a nice advantage there. So that 223, you can run 224 Valkyrie technically and smaller. And then we go to a 30. That's our most popular. We have a Banish 30 Gold that's going to run on like a muzzle brake kind of quick detach system. And that's kind of, I like to call it the Cadillac or high end if guys are doing a lot of PRS competition, stuff like that, or if they just want a muzzle brake attach system, then that Gold's an awesome can.
Because the Gold comes with the brake, and then it just attaches straight onto that brake.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so you're not taking off your brake in order to put on your suppressor. You just put it right on there.
Yep. You replace the brake. Your brake, if your gun's threaded or you're flat, take your bird cage off, put that Gold brake on, and you'll just leave that brake on your gun, and that suppressor will go over top of that. And we use a brake. It's a conical taper brake, so we still have threads on it because kind of like I said earlier, you have the same start and end point. There are some QD systems out there that can kind of ratchet, or they have springs that you'll go down, you'll click them over, and they'll lock back up. I don't hate on those. It's faster, it's good, but I've personally seen, like a 51T mount or 51 tooth. There's a bunch of little teeth there. You screw it on, screw it off. You keep doing it after years. Those are going to eventually wear down, and that's where you can maybe start to see a little point of impacts from, when you swap it back and forth because it's not stopping at the same point. So that Gold still uses, it's a brake system, so you kind of get the advantage of the QD, but then you also still have that positive start, stop. You have threads where you know it's going to be the same every single time. So, and then, we got a Banish 45, and that's kind of for all pistol calibers, 9s, 10s, 40, everything there. You can run like 300 blackout with subs, rim fires with that. And then I guess our three newest suppressors, we got a Banish 338, which, 338 Lapua, 338 Win, any of that sort of stuff.
Your big boy calibers.
Exactly. Yep. And then same thing with that, like I have guys, they got, I got a 338 that I love shooting elk, but I do a lot of deer hunting with a 308 or something like that. You can still buy that 338 can and run it on your 308 or your 7 mag or whatever it may be.
So that's someone with like that. I know the answer to this kind of, but maybe someone doesn't. But why wouldn't you just buy the biggest suppressor and use it for everything smaller? Because obviously you can use it for everything smaller as long as the thread pitch is the same and all that stuff. But you can use it for everything. Why wouldn't you just buy the 338 suppressor and use it for everything?
For everything, yeah. So you definitely can. There is a point, where even shooting smaller calibers, you have more baffles and you have more volume. Like our 30 has more baffles, and there's just more volume in that suppressor than our 223 can. So you can still get very good suppression. There is a point of, if you have a 338 that you shoot a couple times a year, but, I do a lot of coyote hunting and I like to shoot my air a lot. That is kind of where I still say, if you do a lot of that, maybe look at, going to 30 cal for your kind of rifles and your 223, 5.56 and just kind of keeping or living one on that bigger 338 because you'll still get good sound suppression. It'll still be hearing safe, but
it's going to be a lot quieter.
It's going to be quieter if you go a little bit more specific. Or like I personally have a few 30 cal suppressors. And I was kind of telling you, like we've done testing and stuff just because you have more baffles and more volume. You're getting almost identical sound suppression. You're 2 inches longer, but I can shoot a hell of a lot more calibers too. I'm not kind of capped at my 223, 5.56. I can do 6.5, 6.8, 270, 30-06, 7 mag, 300 blackout. So that's where, and then like kind of going on to our more newer cans, like we have a Banish 46, and that is kind of the one can do all. I mean, it'll shoot 458 cal and smaller, and we were shooting like 4.8 Shy-Tex out of that when we were doing testing. So 4.8 Shy-Tex, 458 Win mags, like any super high pressure that's got an Inconel blast baffle to help handle any of that ultra mag. Super high stuff.
So like a 375 H&H if you want to go out and hunt dangerous game in Africa, your 375 H&H and your 460s and all that stuff.
Yep, exactly. Like
416 Rigby.
Yep,
is a really
like Melissa
popular one.
Bachman. Like a lot of people follow her, but she used our Banish 46 when she went up and shot a brown bear, on a 375. So yeah, that's a lot of big guy, Iowa boys, straight wall stuff. That's coming, way more popular than even the last year, 2 years. We get a ton more calls than when I first started.
That's going to be my next question, because you can put that on your 450 Bushmaster, your 350 Legend.
100%.
And
yep.
let it rip.
Yep. That 46, it's literally, it does everything. I kind of say there is kind of the saying, a jack of all trades, master at none. And that's kind of why, you definitely can buy a 46 and you can buy the accessories and you can run that on, really any rifle, any pistol you have. It's big enough to handle the 45 cal pistols, 10s, all that stuff. When you're just getting down smaller, like on a 223, just kind of, again, you do have some extra, it's just a bigger hole. You are getting some of that gas that's escaping out of the front. It's just being louder. And just like, especially on like pistols, like a Banish 46 to handle the 408s, the 375s, it's got to be a little thicker, a little heavier. So like on a handgun, it's just a lot more bigger, cumbersome. We definitely have guys, they'll buy a 46 because they kind of, they want to do the one to run everything, and they're okay if I don't get the absolute best, but I'm still hearing safe.
Yep.
They're cool with it. But what I've kind of found out is that guys will get it, and that's their entry. That's kind of the gateway drug. They'll get it, and they'll be like, all right, this is badass. Then that person, then they're buying a rifle can, and then they're buying a pistol can. So it all depends how you want to do it or how you want to go about it. Maybe if you want to buy one to do everything, and I just tell those people, there's a very good chance you're going to call me back and buy one rifle and buy one pistol, So if you're interested, just buy rifle and pistol right away, and then, and then just be, forget the kind of jack of all trades sort of deal. But like I said, you definitely can. There's a lot of people that do. There definitely are very popular suppressors just for that. We have a lot of guys that, honestly, they have a 338 and they see our 46 is 338. Rated, and some of those guys, they have, they might have a 375 or they might have something bigger too, so they can, we have a lot of guys, they'll buy a 46 to run their 338, big bore stuff, straight walls, and then they'll get a 30 and run all their, all the other rifles with that. So.
Yeah, because so you should name the Banish 46 is, the gateway drug, or the Banish marijuana, But, because, obviously, in North American hunting, the 30 caliber is pretty much king. You can use a 30 cal, whether it's a 30-06, a 308, or a 300 Win Mag or whatever. You can use that same suppressor for all the big time North American big game hunting calibers, right? Yep. For sure. Yeah, because it's all the 30 caliber. So, I don't know. Whenever you talk elk hunting, it's like you have your 7mm crowd, and you have a 30 caliber crowd, where all the 30 caliber guys are either 30-06 or 300 Win Mag guys, So it's like, I don't know where you lie in that, but it's like one of those things, because you get Advantage 30, you can run that on all of them, right? You can run on your 7mm, you can run on your 30 cals and everything else.
Yep.
So where do you lay in that?
I am a 30 cal guy. Yes. Yeah. I got 300 Win Mag, and I have a 6.5 PRC, and that's what I've been shooting most recently. Just, I haven't been shooting elk or anything, unfortunately. So, deer and antelope and stuff that PRC does great. But yeah, I guess I'd lean more towards the 30. That new 7 PRC looks pretty cool, though.
It does look pretty cool. I want to get one. I need to get a 30. I have a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I'll say what you want, but it's a the 6.5 is a great deer size game and 100%. Smaller caliber. It does everything you need it to do. It bucks the wind great, and it's just a great round for that. I wouldn't want to use it for elk, but some people do, and they have great success. But I wouldn't want to. I'd want to run like a 30 caliber plus. Get
a little more weight there. No, I agree for sure.
But that 6.5 is a good round. I don't care what anyone says. It's a good round.
Well, that's where, like that's where people, it's so accurate and shoots so well that they have a 300 Win, but God, I like shooting that 6.5 a lot more, and I feel a lot more confident with it. So that's where I think some of it too, where you see the hate or the need more and all that, it's because people started trying to push it to what it's really not meant for. You know what I mean? Like it's a great gun, but it's not It's just not a 30 cal. It's just not. That's just all there is to it. You know,
it's not the end all be all to, North American big game hunting. It's a good solid caliber, but it's not gonna be the best option for you if you're taking, elk and moose and especially like dangerous game. Like if you're gonna go out on brown bear hunt, probably shouldn't use a 6.5.
Yeah.
You want to put that fucker down pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great round. But I think the biggest thing why people hate on it so much, and they love to hate it because right when it came out, it was like Hornady if there's one thing Hornady does really well, it's marketing.
Yep.
And they're very good at marketing their new calibers that come out.
Yep.
Especially the PRC line.
Yeah.
Like they started with like
it's crazy
the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yep.
It kind of like it didn't start there, but it's like, man, that was like the one where they're like, we're gonna push this
that
pretty
was the
hard.
Start. Yeah.
That's kind of the start. And then they came out, with they have the 300 PRC and the 6.5 PRC, and they came out with this whole PRC line. They come out, it's like, I can see why people hate it because like it's just marketing. They're trying to market it, and that 7mm, that 7 PRC is not the newest, hottest cartridge. It seems like a fine cartridge, sure, but we already have 7mm red mag. We already have 280 accurately improved. Yep. We already got 28 nozzler, and the 28 nozzler is faster than the 7 PRC.
Yep.
But they're pushing this high BC, buck in the wind, aerodynamic bullet. And that's their whole big thing, and it does. The numbers don't lie. It is a great looking round. But if you already have like a 28 nozzler, would you be rushing out to go buy a 7 PRC?
No, I personally wouldn't be. No, I think and I think it's just kind of like I said, I have a 6.5 PRC. It's the heavy for caliber bullets, high BC, buck in the wind, good. And they're efficient. They're not; those PRCs aren't built to be the 28 nozzler, as fast as we can push that bullet and hit us. They are, they're kind of is that precision rifle cartridge built to, long range shooting, be efficient and be able to shoot that bullet that you can shoot far and still maintain that energy out far. And you're not burning up your barrel, as much as a nozzler or a rum or something like that you're just burning a ton of powder every time you pull the trigger. So.
Right. I think with the PRCs and stuff like that, it's a good medium. Like if you don't already have a 7mm rifle, like a 7mm red mag or a 28 nozzler or a 280, even a 280 accurately improved. So if you already have one of those, you probably don't need to rush out and get one unless you just want to.
Yep.
But I think that's the reason why a lot of people hate on it because they're like, I don't need that. I already have my, my X, my whatever. I already have a 280 accurately improved, and I've killed everything from moose. Everything in North America with that thing. I don't need that. Some PRC sucks. It's like, well, it doesn't just because you don't need it doesn't mean it sucks.
Yeah.
And just because you have it doesn't mean it's better than either. It's just another cartridge. It's
exactly.
And if the gun industry isn't putting out new stuff, as much as they can, like they're constantly trying to change and evolve and tweak and everything else. And if they're not doing that, then people are going to start getting bored.
Yep.
It's just the way human nature is. Like, all right, well, I guess I'll go shoot my fucking 7 Rem Mag again or whatever else it is. It gets people excited. It gets people talking about it. Yep. It gets people more enthralled in the conversation, So I think it's a good thing that they're constantly trying to improve and adapt. It's just, is it the next best thing? Maybe, probably not, but it's cool. It's fun to talk about.
For sure.
So.
No, 100%. No, I agree.
Get those old FUD guys there. It's like, fuck you. I don't need a fucking 7 PRC or a 300 PRC or any of this other shit. I got my 30-06. Yep. That's all I need. Yep. I've killed everything with it. It's like, great job, dude. Like, that's awesome. No one's telling you have to buy it.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? It's just, it's kind of the new, it's, a lot of those 30 at 1906, 30 at 6, like it's 100 years old, Yeah.
And back in 1906, the 30, honestly, in today's age, the 30-06 is not, in my opinion, a dead cartridge. It's a fucking great round. It's a great round. It's way ahead of its time. And it's a great, great, great round. But, like, don't just hate on shit. Yep. Like the 7 Creedmoor, or the 7 Creedmoor, the 6.5 Creedmoor. I bought that in a pinch when I went on that show. And it did what it needed to do. It killed a fucking pronghorn pretty dead. So I can't complain.
Yep.
But my plan is to give it to my daughter because 6'5" does not kick very much at all. And once I get that thing suppressed,
put a can on it.
I could probably give it to my daughter tomorrow.
Yep.
And she'd be fine. And she's 9, so
no, it helps a ton. Like, I mean, even like my sister, you know, she grew up always. You know, I grew up hunting and, you know, fishing and stuff, but we grew up rifle hunting, and I've gotten into bow hunting myself. But you know, my sister's always been around guns. I was always walking around the trees with a 22 and stuff, and she doesn't, not like she's for guns and all that, but she just never really shot, didn't like him, you know. We started going out there suppressors, and she literally asked me one day, she's like, that doesn't look that bad. Can I shoot it? You know, and she shoots it, and she's like, I think I kind of want to buy a gun. You know, it's like, it can help with, you know, kids or just anyone just getting in. It just makes it a lot more enjoyable. So
It does. Have you done, South Dakota, you have your rifle season.
Yep.
So you can shoot center fires out there.
Yep.
You can't here in Iowa. Have you ever done like Midwest gun hunts? Like your Midwest, like straight wall cartridge or slug guns kind of thing? Okay.
No, I've shot one deer with a muzzleloader, and that's everything else has been a bow or rifle, center fire rifle.
Because around here, just because it's basically short range firearms.
Yep.
So you have your straight wall cartridges, which are allowed now, and they don't go. You know, they're not center fire. They're not going to go you're not going to shoot anything out to, 500 yards with a fucking 450 Bushmaster.
Yep.
You know, it's a 200 yard and in kind of gun.
Yep.
Maybe 250 or 300 if you shoot it a lot, you could probably get it out to 300. But that's not what the gun is built for. It's built for 200 yards and in.
Yep.
But it's so a lot of guys around here, they push a lot. Like so they get in big groups and they go out and party hunt and push. Is that popular in South Dakota?
Not at least where I'm from. Not especially not like walking and pushing. Like I personally never done, but watch YouTube and seen videos. I personally don't know of anyone around us that's really done much stuff like that. I have been a part of sometimes where I guess we do a push, but it's more of like you set one guy at the end of the field, and then you have one guy walking, and it's not like a group really. You know what I mean? Like that's how I actually shot one of my bucks. Was one of the first years, and I was on a slough, and we weren't really seeing much kind of during there. Like, well, hey, we'll go walk this, see if anything is embedded in there. It jumped up a buck, and he ran over past me, and got to shoot him. But that's honestly about the only time that I've ever been a part of or personally you're like pushed deer, and like I say, like you can call that pushing, but definitely not like you like guys that. Do it to like buddies. Like I got a buddy that grew up around Okoboji, and he talks about it's opening deer, and they you have a group of guys that you go out and we shot a deer. It's not like he has a tag. It's we went hunting or we got 2 deer this weekend.
And that's the thing. It's like getting into bow hunting and stuff too. There's a lot of bow hunters that are just like, fuck pushing, fuck gun hunts. Like a lot of people are very anti gun hunting because of especially in the Midwest where they, you're a diehard bow hunter in Iowa and you take the time, you're doing all this work to make things awesome and everything's going good. And you go your whole season, you have this target buck on your list, and you're like, I'm not going to wrap my tag around anything else than this deer.
Yep.
And you go the whole season, then gun season rolls around, and it's like right when December rolls around in Iowa, you have all these bow hunters that are just like fuck, like biting their fingers, like come on, man, please no, and they're driving around like watching the gun hunters and stuff, and they're like, what the fuck? And then they see their deer getting pulled out, and they're like, oh, my fucking deer got killed by a dumbass fucking gun hunter, fud ass loser that just walks out, hunts one weekend a fucking year and everything else. And like I get that, I totally understand that, and I'm not a huge party hunting pushing kind of guy. Like I grew up doing it when I was young, but we did it in a very small group. It was me, my dad, my buddy, and his dad. And I was part of a bigger group before, but my dad and I were just like, fuck this, like this is getting reckless, so we just broke away and did our own thing. But it's one of those. I said, but my wife's been listening to this show, and she's like, you say but a lot. I'm like, fuck. It's like that. You ever watch How I Met Your Mother? I've
a little bit, not a ton.
There's an episode where Robin, she says but and they make fun of her for saying but a lot. She said I do that a lot. I'm like, fuck. So I'm trying not to do that as much. But But it's like I get why guys do that, because a lot of guys around here they work their ass off. They're working their blue collar job. They're doing construction, farming, whatever they do. And a lot of farmers can't bow hunt around here because they're harvesting during November.
Busy.
They're busy as hell, and they just want to relax a little bit. And they're like, okay, I'll go out with my shotgun or 450 Bushmaster or whatever and push some deer, and we'll shoot some deer.
Yep.
And that's what they do, and I can't hate on that because that's their time to get out. They're buying the tags, buying the licenses, doing their thing. It's hard for me to hate on them because I've lived in that world for a while. But I do understand the bow hunter's perspective of like, that's not really hunting. That's not really hunting because the way I do it is so much different.
Yep.
And
shooting, not hunting here.
Yeah, exactly. But what I see in the West, like west of Iowa, right? Like Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, once you get out like in your quote unquote Western hunting, they don't do that a lot because they have plenty of space. You guys are doing a lot more spot and stock. And when you said you guess technically maybe you push, but it's one guy maybe walking through a slough and like still hunting through it.
Yep, exactly.
And that's how me and my buddy hunt a lot, like late muzzleloader when we're out in public trying to make something happen kind of thing. We don't have a whole lot of time. Like we'll have one guy just post up on an escape route area and he'll still hunt through. And it might take a while. And he'll still hunt through, but he'll get a shot. And then when he shoots, then the deer will run through and hopefully they run in our direction, my direction. If I'm posting, then hopefully they'll run in my direction. Then a lot of times they'll stop once they feel kind of safe and look around, and maybe you'll get a shot. So that's how we do it too. And I don't really consider that pushing necessarily, but it still kind of is. But that's where me personally, I would love to see like the culture kind of go more towards that. And I think it honestly is changing a little bit towards that.
For sure.
We don't like. No one really goes out there with pots and pans anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be a tactic back in the day. Like in December, they're like, we got to get the deer on their feet. So they'd have one guy in there with like pots and pans, like, ching, 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 hey, oh, hey, deer, what you do? Like making all sorts of racket and getting the deer like running. And that's when they start shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of going away a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all that stuff. I try not to hate on people for the way they like to hunt and do their thing. And everyone lives in different circumstances, so I don't like to hate on the way they do things, but I do understand why some people do.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. If you're doing it and it's legal and you're not breaking any laws, you're not just chasing deer down with trucks or whatever, you know what I mean? If you're doing it legal and it's all kosher, I mean, you do what you want. Everyone's got their own thing, but like you said, if you're a working class guy and you're not, maybe you like hunting, but you're not, it's not your life, maybe like me and you were. I make the time to go hunt. Like I plan my falls around like, I need to get this done. I need to get this done so I can go hunt Saturday. I can hunt Wednesday after work or whatever it is. I specifically make time. And if those people aren't doing that, they got 2, maybe 3 weekends of gun season and they have 4 days to hunt, so they can't go out and sit. Right. Like me or you or whatever.
Yeah, they might not have the time.
Exactly. Or they just maybe don't want to put in the time like that. So,
it does take a lot, dude. It does take a lot of planning and, working with your family and your work and stuff. And it's gotten to the point with me where I love like hunting. Like that's my thing. Like, ever since I got out of the Army, like for me, when I got out of the Army is very much like something that I wanted to do, but also it's helped me adapt back into like civilian life. Where it gives me purpose to an extent, where it gives me purpose, it gives me something to look forward to all year round.
For sure.
In the off season, I'm planning what I'm going to do next year. And it's always on my mind, and it keeps me motivated to stay in shape instead of becoming a fat fucking, like what a lot of veterans do. They get home, they grow their beard out. I grew my beard out, but they get home, grow their beard out, eat a bunch of food, drink a lot of beer, and get fat and slothy because they're like, well, I've been, for the past 20 years or 10 years or 5 years, however long you're in the military for, I've been waking up at 4 a.m. every fucking morning to go do stupid PT, to go on a fucking battalion run or do something stupid that I don't like to do. I can't wait to just be done with this shit, go home and not do that stuff. But hunting for me has kept me in the gym. Like I wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym on my own accord because I'm like, man, I want to stay in shape, at least to a certain extent, because it makes hunting a lot
easier
and more enjoyable
for sure.
And it just kind of keeps me motivated to do that. But it's gotten to the point with me too where I will turn down or not go for a certain job that I know I have really solid chance of getting that pays probably a lot more than I get paid now. But I don't want to do it because I'm like, well, fuck, there goes my fall.
Yep.
You know, getting time off is going to be harder in that job, so I don't want to do it.
No, for sure. No, that's like one cool thing about obvious Science Essential. Like a lot of us are hunters, and everyone gets it, but then also it's kind of a catch-22 because we all want to be gone at the same time. You know, so it's like, you know, like we're all hunters, so you know, like some of us that. You know, it's like, when are you going out west, or when are you, what are you doing? Like, how many of us are going to be gone? Are we all going to get this time off, or like, do we need to like almost coordinate? Like, so you guys can go that week, and then I'll stay at the office, so we can, you know, each get to go hunting versus,
you should,
you know, whatever. So that is like, it's kind of funny. Sometimes it's like we all go ask for time off, and it's like, yep, it's opening in West River. You can tell, like, you know, half the sales guys are gone.
And your manager's like, motherfuckers, someone's got to work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe you should structure it so like you have two teams. You have your, you know, they're equal, and you have your team of, you know, your one team that's hunters, and you have your other team that are just shooters.
Yep.
You know, so then the hunters can take their time off during fall.
Yeah.
The shooters can take their time off during the summer.
You
guys kind of coordinate that way.
Yeah.
You know, because it's kind of like the way, you know, Pittman and Robertson Act works, like with the extra tax, like the excise tax on hunting equipment and shooting stuff. You know, like guns, ammo, accessories, all that shit. It all goes back to Pittman and Robertson. And hunter, like, that's one thing that I noticed too that I never really knew until I started getting more into this, I guess, industry, or the closer I get into the hunting industry. But I grew up like a shooter, and being both, like, there is actually a lot bigger of a divide than I ever thought there was in the shooting and hunting industry.
Yep.
And there's a lot of hunters that are not, I shouldn't say a lot. I have seen and heard of some big hunters that are more apt to give on certain gun control ideas and support certain legislation because they're like, well, it doesn't affect me, so fuck it. Like, I don't want the mass shootings to keep happening, so why don't we get rid of assault rifles? You know,
that's one thing. Just being, you know, talking to gun guys. That's one thing I was surprised of too, because me growing up, you know, guns are for protection and stuff too, but mostly is hunting. You know, like I grew up, you know, I have a 22, go shooting squirrels or rabbits, or, you know, and then you'd go shoot antelope, and like that's what I grew up as far as guns, you know, and that was a wake up for me too. I talked to guys, and there's guys that only have ARs, so they only shoot pistols, and they don't hunt, but they go to the range once a week. You know, and I personally didn't realize that there is kind of that divide almost, you know. There is. And it's not so much, I see it more so on the hunting side of things, which is very disheartening, because I've seen it on more of the hunting side of things where they're like more willing to work with gun control legislation, like work with it as in like maybe not see the full story in the way that maybe you should look at it. And that has always bothered me. And I'm like, man, if you motherfuckers, you're so big on conservation, and I love that. Like, you're so big on conservation, and hunting is conservation. Don't fuck with my hunting, blah, 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 blah. And that's great. Absolutely keep fighting for that. 100%.
But do you realize that most of the conservation money from the Pittman and Robertson Act comes from shooters, non-hunters, guys that understand how hunting works, but they're like, I just don't have the time to do it. I love shooting. Like, I just had a buddy of mine, Landon Baker, on. He's a PRS guy. He fucking loves shooting. He shoots all the time. He reloads his own ammo because it's cheaper. But he's constantly buying gun stuff and feeding into conservation. So, and yes, hunting is conservation, but so is recreational shooting, and so is the tactical side of things. The tactical shooting guys, like if you want to be a tactical LARPing contractor operator dude that buys 10 AR-15s and buys a plate carrier and 100 magazines and, you know, 10,000 rounds a month and just shoots steel out of his backyard or at the local range, and he wants to record himself and put himself on YouTube saying like, I'm super cool, look at me, like this is awesome. Like, God bless you, man, because that is conservation. It might not look like it, Might not look like it to your eyes.
He's contributing.
But he's contributing to the longevity of conservation and hunting. Yep. It's like, y'all need to look at that and understand, like, if you,
big picture.
Yeah, the big picture. If you want to ban certain things, ban certain guns because you don't understand them, it's like you're gonna lose a lot, dude. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
For sure. No, one of my good buddies at work, he hunts a little bit and stuff, but he is that tactical guy. You know, he shoots, he goes to the range and he can grab a 1911 and ring steel at 50 yards because that's what he does. You know, I can't do that, but that's what he does. And let's be honest, I buy a lot of hunting stuff, but when he's going to the range, you know, twice a month or whatever, and he's shooting a couple hundred rounds, he's probably contributing, you know, just as much or if not more than I am to, you know, to Pittman Robertson, to what I actually, you know, like,
love to do.
Yeah. Like, and that's a bigger deal to me. For him, like, you know, he wants to stay sharp, protect his family, just enjoy shooting, all that.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's pumping all that money and it's coming right back to us.
Yep.
So,
and like my dad, I grew up hunting. My dad wasn't a big shooter type of guy. Like he loved shooting.
Yep.
Loves going there and recreational shooting in the backyard because we lived on an acreage, and we grew up doing that. But we still only, growing up, I still only had, like, we all had shotguns. Like, my dad had a shotgun, I had a shotgun, my brother had a shotgun, then we had a family 22. That's really all we had growing up.
Yep.
And later on, my dad ended up buying like a Taurus 9mm.
Yep.
He's like, oh yeah, fucking, this is cool. Like, yeah, it was cool. But when I first started hunting, my dad bought me my shotgun, and his, like, you know, I had a bird barrel, my slug barrel, and he bought me, I think it was like 5 boxes of slugs. And he's like, this one's the 0. So we went and zeroed my shotgun. He's like, the rest of these should, like, there's 5 boxes, you know, or 5 shells per box.
Yep.
So 3 more boxes. Like, this should last you 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, it only takes one. It only takes one slug to kill a deer.
Yep.
So this should last you 15 years until you're old enough to buy your own, you know, kind of thing.
Yep.
But that's like the mentality of a lot of hunters, where it's like, I buy a couple boxes of ammo a year just to zero and check my zero and shoot a little bit and then go out and hunt.
No, and I do, and I see that too a lot of times at shows where, you know, it's a dude, he loves guns, he hunts, but he is that guy. He only shoots his gun a couple times a year, and he just like, I just, you know, I don't know, because there are those people that make sure it's on, shoot their deer, and that's, you know, that's all they do, and they're happy, you know, and
that's great.
Yeah, but I'm not like that.
I love shooting too much.
Exactly.
Like, I really love shooting. I don't know what it is about shooting, like, whether it's archery or guns or what. It's like, I love all of it. Like, it's so much fun in its own different realms. Like, for sure, bow hunting is so much fun in its own right.
Yep.
Like, you're solitary. I'm out by myself. It's all on me,
like,
to get this done, and it's awesome. It's super rewarding for myself when I get done bow hunting and I end up killing a deer, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I did this by myself. This is awesome. I talk to my buddies. They're like, fuck yeah, dude, this is great. Like, bow hunting is awesome. It's the best thing ever. And it is. It's awesome. But then I go out with my buddies and we do a gun hunt. And I'm like, but this is so much fun. So it's so much more fun, like, in the moment fun, like camaraderie. Like, you're with somebody. Like, it's more, it's a group.
It's a better experience.
Yeah, it's a group thing that you're doing with your buddies, and you're getting that immediate camaraderie. You're actually hunting together. Like, bow hunting, you're not bow hunting with anyone generally, unless you go out on a out west trip together and you have your spotter and you're stalking and doing that thing. That's cool. Like, but you're still only one-on-one. You don't want to go out there with a group of, you know, 4 or 5 guys and go on a bow hunt. That's just not a thing you do. But you can do that with a gun hunt. Like, it's so much fun in its own different realm of things. For sure. I think that's why too, like, I'm getting really big into coyote hunt, just because, like, I love bow hunting and stuff, but there is that, it's me, I did that. It's, you know, you're not hunting with anyone. You might have a buddy go out and help us put some trail cameras out, or you might go scouting together, or what, you know, whatever it is, but, you know, generally bow hunting. But I think, like, I don't know, me, and I'm sure everyone else, you shoot a deer with your bow, you're calling your dad, your wife, your buddies, you know, like, because you want to share that with them right away. That's where it's cool. Like, you know, coyote hunt, like, we didn't have a great night last night, but, you know, like, when we go out, you know, like you know, you've seen some of those when you call in a group of them and you shoot a 3-pack or something, and, like, you just have your buddy right there, you know, like, it's cool to
have that camaraderie and being able to talk and bullshit and all that for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely less. It's just so much. It's just so different. I can't compare the two. Like a lot of people like to compare the two. Yeah. I just can't do it because it's just so different. It's apples to oranges.
I agree.
Yes, an apple's a fruit and an orange is a fruit, but you can't compare them.
I
to
will
each other.
always bow hunt, and I'm a huge bow hunter. I love it, but I don't think I'll ever give away gun hunting because of that too. Like I do probably feel more accomplished when I kill something with a bow, and I do think I enjoy that more personally, but not to the extent of like I don't like shooting guns or anything. It's a little different. I kind of like both. I like having that camaraderie, but also there's sometimes I love being the fly on the wall and me just being on the tree and watching everything wake up and deer walk by or birds or just doing whatever.
Yep.
Like that stuff is awesome, but then it is really cool, where you can go out and go hunting and stuff and be with buddies and bullshit and hang out and talk. And
the thing that's always kind of bothered me about certain people in any like, okay, when I was strictly a gun hunter, like I've told Kurt this, I think I've said this a couple different times now, and we both think it's fucking hilarious. But the way I grew up was like, my dad said that bow hunting's for fellas.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccer rules.
Yep.
It's like
you can't have a gun.
You can't have a gun, so you go bow hunting.
Yeah.
And so I kind of grew up with that kind of. Obviously, I know he's saying it in jest, but it's one of those things where gun is just so different. But like what? Oh yeah, this is what I was gonna do. The thing that bothers me sometimes about certain bow hunting groups, and obviously working class bow hunters not like this. And a lot, maybe I would say probably the majority of people aren't like this, but they look at that and like, I'm doing it the right way.
Right. I'm
ethical.
ethical.
I'm ethical because I'm out there with a bow and I'm shooting these animals. They have no idea I'm there. I'm a fucking ninja. And yes, you are, and you're doing great. Good job, buddy. I'm so proud of you. And you're doing a great job. Like you sneak in there, they have no idea they're there, and then all of a sudden you send a fucking arrow through their through their lungs. And it's like, hell yeah, dude, I did it. I got sneaky as hell. And it was great. But I just did it again. But but the thing is, like, they like to say that they're doing certain things the right way, so other people should do it their way because it's the best way. And maybe it is a great way to do it, but you can't look down on other people for the style they like to hunt, and stuff too. And also, it's like we work so hard, and companies work so hard to make things easier, So, like, I put it in this perspective. It's like trad hunters are like, if you want to look at it that way, like, trad hunters are the best. If you want to look at best hunting, like who's the best hunter? Like if compound bow hunters are better than crossbow hunters and they're better than gun hunters, then the trad guys, like those guys, get the shit on everybody. Like, hey, I'm out here with, especially if you go as far as saying like, I'm hunting off the ground with a fucking piece of wood and a string with a flannel, maybe
white-tail adrenaline.
Like those guys, like Jared Scheffler, he gets to go around. He's the only person, that type of person is the only person that can really go around and say, I'm the best. You all suck.
If that's exactly, if that's a lot for sure, I would agree with that.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't do
that at all.
No,
but it's just the style he likes to do. But God dang it. Okay, those guys are in that aspect the pinnacle, right? So really, like hunters shouldn't really say anything because there's always that better. I think that better way of doing things.
No, I do hate that too, and I'll be, when I got into bow hunting, there was a short time where I'm like, oh, guns are stupid. I'm never going to shoot anything with a gun. That was right after I shot my first deer with the bow, and I shot it actually from the kind of stalked on him on the ground. It was double lung shot. I got to watch him run 40 yards and fall over. And like as a young kid, or not young kid, but I think I was a freshman in college. First year I shot a deer with a bow.
Like I
grew up. Not, but like my dad didn't doesn't shoot a bow still to this day. None of that. Just he's a gun hunter. It's like, for me, it's like, I just taught myself. I did all this. I bought my own bow, and I was like, screw guns.
Yeah.
Then it's like, actually, no. Like, it's another opportunity to be out there. I think everyone has.
I did that
sure.
too. When I first found bow hunting, I was like, yes, fuck gun hunting.
Yep.
Like, this is the shit. Yep. And then when I went back out with a gun, I'm like, but this is also fucking sweet.
Yeah, it is.
It's just so different. So I just kind of morphed my way of thinking, just being like, it's just so different. You can't compare the two. Mm-hmm. And luckily in Iowa, in places like I still don't love to go out during gun season in Iowa, just because I don't have a big group of guys I go with, and even if I did, I don't know if I'd want to.
Yep.
And I like in the Midwest, I love muzzleloader season. Like whether it's early muzzleloader or late muzzleloader, there's less people out there, and it's a lot different. But you still get to shoot them with a gun, and it's a good time. But going out west, that's like, in my opinion, like that's the rifle hunt. Like that's the gun hunt, where you can still go out with some buddies and you're shooting at a whatever, 3, 4, maybe 500 yards, whatever your personal ethical range is.
Yep.
Like that's another thing too. Like especially when it comes to rifle hunting and bow hunting and stuff. Like just like your ethical range might be 600 yards. My ethical range might be 400 yards. And the next guy's ethical range might be 900 yards. Yep. Like I would never put an ethical range on anybody, because there's people out there that are worse shooters than me and better shooters than me.
Yep.
So who am I to say, like, you need to shoot them 400 yards and in? So it's the same with bow hunting. Like Clint Casper, he fucking goes out there and he goes out there and whacks a pronghorn at 115 yards with his bow and arrow. It's like, damn, dude, hell yeah. And people look at him and be like, you're a fucking piece of shit for shooting that pronghorn at 115 yards. But he's dead.
But for
for
him,
Casper, that's not.
You practice that.
That might not be an unethical shot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting this number on Clint.
Yeah,
he hasn't done this to my knowledge. I made it up. I'm using it as an example. I don't know if he's shot a pronghorn at 115 yards, but probably his ethical range might be 115 yards, and my ethical range with a bow might be 30 yards.
Yep.
But that's just on you.
Exactly.
That's on you as a personal dilemma that you have to work through as a hunter. What's ethical and what's not.
Yep. No, for sure. And that is kind of cool thing about like South Dakota too, where like I'm on southeastern part, so I kind of get the ag land, hunting trees, kind of like like maybe like Kurt and you guys do over here in Iowa and stuff a little bit more. But I can drive 3 hours west, and now I'm in the prairies. I'm getting into the Black Hills. There's mule deer and antelope and stuff. So that is cool. Where I am kind of lucky where I can kind of get both. I can be Midwestern, food plot, tree stand, or I can go out west and walk 15 miles in a day and wonder why I'm doing it. Like you can do it. Like
why they come all the way out here.
Yeah.
It's so much better just to sit in a tree and wait.
Yeah. No, like I said, we went out and shot me and my buddy got antelopes right away this year, and my wife and I'd rough around home for shooting bows, and she just asked me, she's like, honey, like you go out west and shoot stuff, but like, do you not have any good land to hunt around here? Like, you haven't shot anything around home, in a while.
Right.
Like, thanks, Dad.
Dude, I fucking talk to my dad about this stuff sometimes, and I'll tell him, like, oh, yeah, I went down to southern Iowa and shot a nice deer. And he's like, why the fuck?
Why would you do that?
Did you go all the way down to southern Iowa? There's deer here, Jake.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, there are deer here, but there's not those deer aren't here. And it's like, I don't have my own land, so I'm working on permission, like either public or permission pieces. And I'm either, if I get permission, then I'm, sometimes if the landowner needs some help with some things, I'll try to help them, as much as I can in order to get those permission pieces. But I don't have my own land that I can just go to and set up food plots and do all these things and have this freedom to just go to this one spot. Like I have to travel around a little bit.
Yep.
And I don't love hunting around my home because there's a lot of different, it's just different. There's bigger deer in other places of Iowa that I would rather hunt in. And he's always says, like, why the fuck did you go way down there or way over there to hunt deer? There's deer around home, dude. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, but you don't understand, Dad. Yeah. You don't get it.
Yeah, my dad's the same way with a lot of stuff. And it's, it's like buying expensive spotting scope. He's like, well, we got one right there. It's like, yeah, but look at this at night compared to yours. Or, the same thing my dad's like, I remember one year my dad's like, boy, you and Zach are really good at just taking pictures of big deer, aren't you? It's like, just kind of like a jab. He's like, you guys are always out there and show me pictures of deer. Like, why aren't you ever shooting any, It's like, got a freaking bow, Dad. It's tough. Like, why don't you go out there and try it? Yep. And actually, I guess I should. So my dad, he had heart attacks and stuff. So he actually has license for crossbow in South Dakota, and he hasn't. I try to get him to go out and sit and stuff, but he doesn't really want to, But he even said last year, he went out a couple times. He kind of mentioned, I think he realized, it was like, he goes, boy, this crossbow stuff, even it's just not. He's like, it's not easy.
No,
I'm like, no, not a, no. Like. Now you understand a little bit, It's like, it's one thing to see him out there, have him at 200 yards or whatever, but
that's another thing I've seen on Facebook a lot where someone's like, I went out gun hunting one time and the deer caught me, turned around, ran out to 200 yards, I shot it and it's dead. Mm-hmm. Not fun. Like, okay. But then, so bow hunting, you go out there and you sit in the stand, and you wait for it to get closer, and yes, it is a lot more meticulous to stand, stand placement, wind direction, all this other shit you have to think about. You're constantly thinking about. It's a lot more like chess. You're really playing a chess game and setting up, setting a little trap for them and trying to get them in really close to shoot them. But it's just so different. It's not necessarily that gun hunting is easier than bow hunting. It's just the success rate is larger. You have a more success rate, higher success rate during a rifle hunt than you do a bow hunt. But it's not necessarily that's easier. It's just completely different. Like when you're out there gun hunting, you're walking a lot. You're out there moving around a lot more. You're putting the miles on, and having a higher success rate because you have a longer distance you can shoot at. But I would say, man, Midwest whitetail bow hunting is much easier than Wyoming elk hunt with a rifle. Yeah, like it's easier physically, but
100%.
It's a higher success rate. So it's just completely different. Where you think about that, but it's also where you're at, where you're doing it at, like. If I had a 300 Win Mag and rifle season was open in Iowa, like would that be as much fun, or would it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because it's just one of those things that it's never been legal here, and I don't know how I would feel about someone setting up in there and being able to shoot out to 500 yards with a 300 Win Mag and
shoot across the section.
Yeah, shoot across the section. It's like that would be kind of. That would be kind of cheap, especially up in my area. You've seen my area. You're around my town. It's like you can see for forever, dude. Yeah, you can really reach out there and touch something if you wanted to. If rifles were legal here.
Yep, for sure. And I think personally that's why I love having bow and rifle too, because I can. Bow is hard. I can maybe be less picky or, shoot a doe with a bow and have the meat and then try to shoot a buck or not be as picky or have a rifle tag. You can, if you want to be that trophy hunter or whatever, you can do that because it's, and I hate to say it's easier because, I won't let, a couple years ago, waited a few years to get a good muley tag and I spent 5 days grinding, not, seeing deer, just not being able to get the right play or thinking I have them bedded, and you go and you get there and they're gone. You know what I mean? I'm shooting a smaller muley, but it's not like it's just easy just because you have a rifle tag. You're not just guaranteed going out there. I spent 5 days and killed one on the morning when I was planning on leaving. Because he was driving to another spot to glass and he was close to the road, and I'm like, yep, Too close, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, there you go, dude. You're either gonna get dead or you're gonna get educated.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yep. So,
but yeah, and when does your rifle season start in South Dakota?
So we have east and west. It's generally second week of November. So it's kind of it's rut. Yeah, it's during. Yeah, so it's yeah, gosh, West River's a week before East River generally. It opens, South Dakota's split right down the middle, and we have east and west.
Basically 2 different states.
It really kind of is, honestly. Yeah, you hit that river, and then, like I said, it's boom, prairie, not as much ag fields. There's still some ag on the west side, closer to the river and stuff, but, yeah, then it's prairie, antelope.
Yeah, and, I guess around here, our gun season doesn't start until December. Yep. So that's the other reason why gun hunting around here, especially if you're trying to do it different. Like you're not trying to go out there with a group of guys and fucking push deer. If you're trying to sit and wait, like that is a tough time.
Yep.
You know, that early December time frame is tough.
Nope.
Like you might get lucky and a deer might pop into estrus late and it might be action packed. But for the most part, like, man, that is a tough time. It's not super duper cold yet. So they're really not getting back. They're just getting out of the rut. It's just post rut. And they're just getting maybe starting to think, like the bucks are starting to think about food again.
Yep.
But it's not super duper cold yet. But usually in January, like the late muzzleloader, if you have the food, then you have the deer.
Yep.
But that December time frame is tough if you plan to hunt like that. So, but that's the other thing where it's like, I don't think that gun hunting is easier than bow hunting in Iowa because, man, it is hard to get those deer up and be sitting there waiting for them to get up and move. And like, I get why people push and stay mobile and walk through areas to get them up and moving because you might be sitting there the whole season and never see a deer, you know?
Yep. And like around us too, or like, you know, like it's so patchy, especially where I'm from. You know, I was talking about losing places to hunt because they're tearing trees out and stuff. So it can be, you know, really patchy where they're going to bed down, they're going to get up 10 minutes before dark and then go to the food, you know, or something where they just, if it's not super cold out, like you're saying, they don't need to, you know, so they're just going to stay in the trees out of the wind and everything till they're really hungry. And then they'll get up when it's dark and they know they're good. You know? So,
it's weird. But like, then you have states like Minnesota where they have their gun season come in during the rut.
Yep.
And it's like, oof.
I know that's how South Dakota is too. And, you know, growing up, like the older I get, the more I'm kind of like, ooh, like, maybe don't like growing up. I'm like, hell yeah, like this is awesome because more deer out and all that. But like, you know, there is kind of a catch-22 where it's like I don't know, like it is. I mean, our rifle is 3 weeks long, 300 Win Mag, 6, you know, whatever you want, you know. So
yeah, it's tough. I can see why like states like Wyoming would have their rifle season come in during like maybe I don't know when it comes in, but I think you can hunt with rifles in like Wyoming during the rut for mule deer and stuff.
Yep.
I get why that would happen. Why that would be a thing because it's such big country out there.
Yep.
When you're talking like you're talking small tracts of land, it's like that is really tough in the deer herd to be getting. Like they're trying to rut. They're trying to make more deer. Yeah, they're just getting fucking shot up.
Like I guess this year I shot my buck on November 13th, and it was technically rifle season. In the first week, and I remember going up to and dropping my deer off at, you know, just to get sticks and stuff made, and there's just deer everywhere, you know what I mean? Because it's a good time to be hunting, and then you let them have we have rifles too. So like I said, when I shot him early Saturday morning, he was at the locker by noon. Yeah. There's, you know, 15, 20 deer there already. You know, that's just the one locker. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So.
But I do also truly believe that the DNR, they set their quotas to a certain,
for sure, yeah,
for a reason, you know.
I agree.
It's like if you know, I don't know. I like to trust my DNR and the biologists that work in the state. It's like they set the seasons for a reason, and they have, you know, good intentions behind it. Maybe Minnesota doesn't, but
yeah, no, and they're out there, and you know, you always get the guys, I don't have deer like I used to, or whatever, you know, but it's like, well, did you used to have deer in the one spot that you always hunted and they just, you know, something changed and now they're not living there, you know, too. It's like, yeah, I agree. They're not out there trying to kill our deer herd away for sure. No. You know, and that's more maybe like the rifle and rut is maybe more like maybe you would have, you know, some bigger, better quality deer because growing up here, I think South Dakota's a little underrated, but
yeah,
I can also say it's not like we're just pushing out 200s, 180s all the time, but I know multiple, you know, deer that I've seen in the past 4 or 5 years that have been in that 180, getting close to 200, you know, and stuff that no one knows about just because there's a lot of those guys, I think, too, around South Dakota where they don't care about Instagram. They don't care about any of that. They grew up shooting big deer and they don't want anyone to know that they shoot big deer, you know? Like, I worked for a dude that I didn't even know. He knew I was a huge hunter, and I finally went to his house, and he's got a couple monsters on the wall. I'm like, what the, like, where do these come from? And, you know, and he's just kind of quiet about it. He just doesn't, like, not ashamed of them or nothing like that, but he's want to put it out there. I don't feel like I need to brag about it, you know, and he's got, like a 185 buck on the wall and a couple 160s, and I'm like,
Damn.
You know, like, what the hell? All I talk about is hunting. You don't even tell me that you shoot big deer. You know?
Right?
Like, there are guys like that, you know?
Yeah. It's not even, maybe part of it's that they don't want to brag, but another part of it's like definitely that old school mentality. And I think this is, you know, proven to be kind of true to this day too, where they're like, I don't want to tell anybody that I shoot big deer, because then they're going to start encroaching my turf kind of thing. And I don't like that.
No, for sure.
You do see that quite a bit with social media and everything else, and hunting being really popular on social media. And it gets, a lot of people are kind of pissed about the fact that, you know, their state is being overrun by non-residents. Because I think, you know, when you look at the numbers, the numbers are saying that the hunting population is in decline.
Yep.
But then you go out and you don't see that. You don't see that decline, because I think a lot more hunters, even though statistically we have less hunters, a lot more of them are roaming now and hunting multiple states.
And serious hunters.
Yep. Like, you know, with Onyx being such a big thing, like there's
game changer.
It
changed how I hunt.
No piece of public is sacred anymore.
No. I literally myself found out about a small chunk, like around I grew up, you know, I was like, I didn't, because it wasn't posted, or, you know, I didn't know. It's
like, holy shit, nice.
Yeah.
Then you meet like 3 other dudes that are out there hunting it, and you're like, I didn't know this place was public either. Damn you. But it's like, it does suck to a certain extent, but it's also nice to see. It's nice to see people out there doing what they love to do and having fun and getting their, you know. But at the same time, I think a lot more people are roaming. A lot more hunters are hunting multiple states and going out west for elk and doing these things. A lot of Western guys are like, I've been hunting elk my whole life, and you guys fucking suck. You're ruining it. It's like, I see that. Yeah, I can see that. Why you'd be pissed. Yeah, I get it. No. I get why states are changing their laws. Like Idaho used to be super easy to draw, like a bunch of OTC tags. They're starting every single year. They're getting harder and harder to get OTC tags. They sell out right away, and the residents are getting pissed. They're like, I can't hunt now because there's so many fucking people out here. So they are limiting and raising prices and limiting certain areas for OTC to make it more draw units and everything else. So that does kind of suck, but at the same time, like, I get why they're doing it. They have to respect their constituents in their home state. They have to respect the residents that are living there and paying taxes all year. But they also don't want to lose out on all that non-resident money that comes in. And they're like, man, if these motherfuckers want to keep paying $800 for a tag in Montana,
plus the hotel and
all the other stuff, like I don't want to lose that, but I also can't piss off all the residents either. You know, so it's like, I don't know. That's a tough one. In Iowa, it's, you know, I don't know. I think Iowa does it pretty damn well. It does suck as a non-resident trying to hunt in Iowa. You have to wait 3, 4, 5 years before you can hunt certain zones with archery. And that's another weird thing about Iowa is, like, out west, to get a rifle tag, it's a lot harder than to get a bow tag. Like, if I want to go out and hunt elk, it's a lot easier for me to get an elk tag with archery equipment than it is with rifle. But then in Iowa, it's a lot easier to get a gun tag in Iowa than it is a fucking archery tag. It's weird.
Yeah, no, that is kind of odd how that's flopped, you know.
It is weird, because I think in some zones, it's like, I could draw this tag every 2 years if I wanted to go gun hunting, but then I'll never get my bow tag. So then they're like, well, now I just wait 5 years to get this bow tag, even though I could hunt here every 2 years with the gun. It's like, I don't know.
I get it both, because like you said, it can't just be a free for all. It just is not. That just won't work, you know. But it is suck a little bit. You can't just, I don't know. I can see both. But you got to limit it somehow. It just has to be, because I mean, South Dakota's done the same too. I know we've limited and changed stuff for some non-resident out of states. You know, as far as time frames and when you can apply, or if you can hunt public or only private or whatever, you know. So
we were talking about that last night a little bit too, how South Dakota changed their stuff changed their rules up, because it used to be South Dakota was basically over the counter, like for everything.
Except for elk. Elk, bighorn, and mountain
sheep.
goat. That's the one.
But it used to be over the counter for deer and pronghorn and everything else. So everyone would put in their draw tags for Wyoming and maybe Montana or wherever else, they'd put in their draw tags. If they didn't get drawn for anything, they're like, well, fuck it, I'll just go to South Dakota then.
Yep.
So then you guys are probably seeing a huge influx in non-residents all the time.
Yep.
So they definitely needed to change their stuff up too to adapt.
Yep, for sure. Yep, and they did. And it's now there's I don't know the exact date, but there's a certain date where non-residents, you got to apply before, I think it's sometime in June. I don't know. I'm not non-residents. I don't know, but sometime in this, you got to apply, and then it's limited to. There's a certain amount of, basically you can hunt public and private, and then after that, it's only private. And then that's obviously a lot harder getting permission and all of that, because I've definitely seen it too. Like, well, I was telling you, I used to hunt a place, and it just got leased out, because they can, and he's like, sorry, Matt, but he's like, I can get paid, I can't blame him. Like, I get it, but
yeah, I can supplement my income if I take this other dude's money and kick you off.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, it's not that I don't want you to hunt at all. It's just that he pays me to not let other people hunt.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yep. You don't want to step on his toes, and it's understandable, and money talks, and that is the pros and cons of leasing, That's the other thing we were talking about last night a little bit, where when I was growing up, bow hunting wasn't super popular in my area. It was a lot of gun hunters, and man, it was so easy to get permission back then.
No one had ownership of anything.
No one had ownership of anything, unless,
of deer, I should say. Yeah.
And then bow hunting started getting more popular, and it's just a fact where it takes more acres per person to make a bow hunter happy. Yep. Than it does to make a gun hunter happy. Yep. Like, gun hunters are generally hunting in groups, so you're making, on a piece of land, you're making, 5 or 6 guys happy. Then you have a bow hunter with maybe some money, comes in and says, hey, I don't want any gun hunters here. I'll pay you to lease it, but I have sole permission. Yep. And now those 5 guys are displaced because of one person. Yep. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I understand why that happens, but it doesn't make it not suck. Yep.
For sure. 100%.
It does suck.
Yep. No, because I'm on there are a couple places that I am the only one that has permission to, and it's awesome for me. But I get it too, and it's because that is the bow hunting thing where it's tough, because it's, and if, I don't know, I think it depends on type of hunter. Some people, they just don't care. They're just there they want to be out and they want to fill the freezer, and they don't really care. Maybe they don't care as much. But if you want to try to shoot an old deer or whatever your goal is, you're going to be more protective of whether it's your land or you got permission for it, or you're paying for it, or you do chores for them in the whatever it is,
Yep. Absolutely. And that's another, in Iowa, it gets brought up every year where non-resident landowners get pissed because they're like, why the fuck do I have to wait 4 years to hunt my own property? Yep. And a lot of non-residents are like, if I buy the property, I'm paying taxes every year, just like a resident, but I can only hunt it every 4 years. Yep. And I get that aspect. I get that would suck to own land in a different state and be like, I own this land. I pay taxes, property taxes. I want to hunt it every year. Yep. But you can't. And it gets brought up. I think legislation gets brought up every year where a bill comes by where they let landowners hunt just their land every year and have a buck and a doe tag or whatever. Yep. But then the residents get pissed because then we're sitting here like, okay, you allow that. Now I can't afford land in my own home state that I've been been saving my entire life to buy my own piece of land. Now I can't afford it because you have these rich non-residents that are buying land and jacking the prices way up.
To guarantee an Iowa tag, because they'll pay for the
because they'll pay the non-resident fees. They just want to hunt every year. Yep. So now they go out and they buy because
they got the money for the land. Like the money's not the issue. So like you said, they're just, well, that's where I want to hunt. So whatever you're asking, I'll pay that so I can be there every year. Yep. And
I get that argument from the non-resident side. I do get that argument because I would be kind of upset too if I couldn't hunt my property every year. But as a resident, I'm also like, shut up.
Yeah.
just shut up, because I want to be able to own land in my own state too.
Yep.
And if that passes, then I won't. There's a less. Maybe I won't be able to afford land here ever.
Yep.
And
or where you want to have land.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Like I have an acreage, so I do own land. I'm a landowner.
Yep.
But I own like 2 acres my house is on, and I have no trees. Like it's not hunting land.
Yep.
It's just an acreage that I live on. I want to own hunting land someday.
Yep.
And I think last year they proposed that if a non-resident owns 80 or more acres, then they should be able to hunt it every year.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, man, fuck you guys, because now everything 80 and bigger is going to cost. It's going to like be unattainable for the average guy.
Yep.
So then, granted, maybe I don't know. Maybe it would make land prices maybe it'd make prices in the like 79,000 and cheaper. Maybe it'd make them even a little bit cheaper. I don't know what would happen there, but there's a weird economic side of things where there's pros and cons to everything, and that's why non-residents, even if they're landowners, have to wait, because the residents get all butthurt about the possibility of non-residents hunting every year.
Yep.
And guys in Illinois are like, "Fuck you guys, you fucking prissy Iowa boys," like crying about non-residents if they own land being able to hunt their land every year. Like, fuck you guys. We have over-the-counter tags in Illinois.
Yep.
You non-residents come here and hunt our deer all the fucking time, and it sucks.
Yep.
But we make it work, so stop crying.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just glad I don't have to make those decisions. I just have to live with them, I guess. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think we've been going about an hour and a half, man.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to throw out there? Like, we covered Silencer Central pretty well, but
not a ton. No, I mean, if he wants to buy a suppressor, call Silencer Central and ask for Matt.
Yep,
I got to plug that out there.
Yep.
But no, I don't. I guess I can't really think of anything. I did forget. I just thought I forgot to mention our banished backcountry that we came out with. So that's kind of like hunting suppressor that's built short, super light, being here and safe. So I at least just got to mention that because I forgot. But
oh yeah, I was going to ask you. Do you have any new stuff coming out, or is that your newest?
Our backcountry is our newest one. So yeah, it's a 5.5 inch, 7.8 ounce suppressor. So it's super light, super short. Just it's really it's for the the dude that is backcountry out hunting in Wyoming, or they're going on their sheep hunt, or where they're sawing their toothbrush and count ounces of pounds, that sort of deal. Where it's because kind of like I was telling you, that's the one thing I think I have answers, or just in general suppressors. I can tell you why suppressor is good for everything. I'll have a rebuttal for anything you can say, like why you don't need it, except for the length. So that's, I just need a yard. I can't get around that. So that is where that backcountry is cool, because it's it's only 5.5 inches and you're still hearing safe. Make a 300 sound like a 22. So
is that
pretty
so?
badass.
What caliber is that in?
30 cal. It's a rum, ultra mag rated and then down. So that one is not serviceable. It is a fully welded suppressor, so that would be like center fires only. You wouldn't really want to run like rim fires, or if you shoot a lot of gas guns or subsonics, it's probably not the best suppressor for you. It is, like I said, it's a hunting bolt action built suppressor, but it's it's great for that. Like when you're, like I said, you're climbing in the backcountry and going up mountains, going down, and you're carrying it all day. You're not snagging on as many branches. You're not at, any of that. So
yeah. And is that still a titanium baffled?
Yep. Still
system?
all titanium.
Okay.
Yep. For sure.
Yep. And, so is it only coming to 30 cal as of right now?
Yep. As of right now.
Are you going to make anything bigger? Like we were talking, like when it comes to backcountry rifle hunts and stuff, the cream of the crop is 30 cal. Like,
for sure.
Whatever the shooting. So.
Nope. And we, and I know there's some talks of maybe a little more specific, or like, like working with companies, to like kind of have stuff specifically built. But yeah, right now 30 cal, and I'm sure there's going to be more in the future. For sure. I definitely know we're working on, more suppressors all the time too. It just is kind of,
takes time.
Yeah, exactly. It takes time. It's a lot of money. That is not a cool thing. Like just Silencer Central, we do have engineers that they are building suppressors. They're going to the range where we have the meters. We have all that testing. So it is cool that that backcountry I think we had like 7 or 8 different versions of it, before we're like, all right, this is the one, this is the best that we can make to, meet this, and this, So it is cool that we're kind of able to not necessarily all just in-house, but we have our own engineers. We can do all our own tests, and we can do all of that. So we know, like, we're putting out a good can. We're not having to outsource that or whatever,
Exactly. So everyone is working in the same building, basically. So you have your engineers, your production, everyone's in the same building. Your sales guys, you're all in-house. You're not outsourcing your engineers and
it's not like we're not company. Exactly. Yeah, we're not paying. And I'm not even sure. Like, we're not paying a dude from Silencer Co. to make a can for us. It's our engineers making our can, doing the patents or however all that legal stuff works. But it's us, which is cool that that they're able to do that. It's like, okay, if I put a mouse hole here in this baffle, what is that going to do to suppression, to gas, to all that? So it's kind of cool that Brandon's willing to back that and do the testing to make really good cans versus just.
Saying like, hey, make us something.
Yeah, make something, and we're going to sell it because we make the process easy.
Right.
We make it easy, but we have awesome cans too. Like, which is great for me. Like I said, I'll never feel bad selling someone a can because I know you're going to love it.
Yeah, right. That's nice. That's like a really good thing as a salesman, being able to stand behind your product. As a used car salesman, maybe you couldn't do that for every vehicle.
Not as much,
for
sure.
A lot, you couldn't sit there and be like, oh man, this guy just bought a fucking dud.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't get too pissed at me.
It's like, oh god, those Chevy Cruzes, like last Cruze I sold, I've had 5 issues with it. I'm just like that sort of stuff. There is, where no, it is cool, and it's just like going to shows and stuff. Like I had one guy that he surprised me because he had a thermal, does coyote hunting, had never been around suppressed, so you could tell he was super interested. But I was talking, I was like, you have a thermal, like you actually have a thermal. And he's like, yeah, I have a pulse or whatever. And he told me, okay, like you must have a thermal, like you spent the money on all that. I was like, you just have really never been around it. And he's like, no. And I pulled up that video of us shooting when we called in that 6-pack. I was like, if this doesn't sell you a suppressor, nothing will, because we call in 2, my buddy shoots 1, the one on the left runs to the left, we shoot the other one, another one comes to the right, we shoot him, and then we're able to call in 3 more, and after we shot that second one, that guy just goes, fuck it, I'll take 2. Like he saw, he saw me shoot the one and then turn to the left, and the other one was still hauling ass into the call, and he goes, dang. After that one, after he came and we shot it, he literally just goes, fuck it, I'll take 2 of them. It's like, that stuff's odd, because it's a game changer.
Yes, it's nice. Probably I've never been in sales. I've always been kind of interested in it, but it's one of those things I just never really got into, I guess. But it's one of those things where it's probably nice to have a product that you can show a video of you using it. This is me doing it real time. Like it sells itself.
Exactly. Like I said, I literally told that guy, I said, I'll show you this video. If you don't buy a suppressor from me after this, I'm done talking to you. Like, I have nothing else that is going to sell you a suppressor. Like if you have already done all your research, you know about the benefits of everything else, but you just, whether it's the weight or it's giving the government $200 or whatever your issue is with that, like if that doesn't show, like us calling in 6 coyotes, being able to shoot 3 of them, and then having a doe that was bedded, 200 yards up on a terrace and lay there during, the multiple shots and calling and all that, like,
didn't even bother.
Yeah, if that doesn't prove to you it's not James Bond, but it changes, how you can hunt. Like I said, that's where it's cool, because I'm a salesman, but I don't feel like a salesman a lot of the time. It's like I'm helping a dude buy what he wants.
There you go.
Like I'm not having to talk you into, this is why you need it. This is what, like.
It's not snake oil.
Exactly.
You're not a snake oil salesman.
Clint Casper, Is that what he says in I'm not a snake oil salesman.
Right.
No, but it's true, though. It is. I mean, and any suppressor, we sell Banish, and they truly are great cans. Working here now, I've been able to shoot a bunch of different suppressors, and our cans stack up just as good, better, or have more, whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. And that's another cool thing. It's like there are other companies that make cool, good cans, quiet cans, all that. I can still sell you that too. Like if you really don't want a Banish, or you got a buddy that's got a Q or whatever, AAC, I can still sell you that, because I know you're probably not going to buy one can. Like that's kind of my thing. I'd rather make you a buddy and you send me your buddy and his buddy and your dad, So if I sell you 1 can, it turns into 10, just over time.
Yep.
That's, I think where I like it more because I can just build a relationship more of a hunting buddy or like I said, we have guys down in Texas hunting with customers, talk to him on the phone, sold him a can, and he's down in Texas hunting with them now. It's like I have multiple stories of that stuff, which is cool where I said it's not as much of like salesman's oils, snake salesman, whatever you want to say. So
yeah, that's a good thing. It gets people going into it. And like you said, yeah, you buy 1, you're probably going to buy 2, you're probably going to buy 3. And,
yep.
You're doing your job and that they're going to love it. And then, you're building that network up, networking too. And then they're going to go tell their buddies. And like,
I just got to get you over the first hump. Yeah. That's all I got to do. The first one's the toughest. And after that, this
is kind of the same thing we talk about, like Kurt and I and all the other guys. We all talk about Africa. Because after we went to Africa, we plan on that trip to Africa as being like, hey, probably once in a lifetime trip. Let's do it once, get it done with and see what it's like. It's probably going to be awesome, but we'll probably only do it once because it's a little expensive.
Yep.
But then we went there and we're like, geez, this is fucking awesome. Like, everyone we talked to that's been to Africa, they're like, you're going to go back. And we're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. But maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I don't even think we're there 2 or 3 days. We're like, when the fuck can we come back? Like, how can we make this happen more often?
Yep.
It's like, I'm going to start saving a separate savings account for, going back to Africa someday and everything else. It's like, it's once you get in there and get over that first hump, then it's awesome.
I tell everyone, it's like I tell everyone, like, you're going to buy this from me today. You'll get it. And when you get it, you'll tell yourself, well, why the hell did I wait so long to do this?
Because there's a wait time, too.
Yeah.
Talk about what the standard wait time is quick.
Yeah, and it does vary, too. So right now, we've been seeing, I would say, like 7 to 9 months with the ATF. And it can, we can have some go longer. We can have some go shorter. And that's the other thing, too. Like I tell everyone, you're buying it from me at Silencer Central, but I'm sending it to ATF just like Joe Schmo Gun Shop is, just like Billy Bob's Bolt Gun, whatever it is, We're all sending it to the same ATF, and it's unfortunately just it is what it is, and not that I agree with the wait time or the $200 stamp. It's not like I'm like pro NFA or whatever, but I'm pro suppressors and I'm pro getting people out there to use them. So unfortunately there's that barrier to entry.
Yeah,
there is.
You gotta wade through the bureaucratic bullshit.
Yeah, but like I said, and 2 people ask, well, are they just denying people because they don't want to have them? No, I mean, they're running a background check. If you can buy a gun, you got to concealed carry. You'll get approved. You got to go through the hoops. You got to give them their money. Yeah. You got to go through that. But I said, once you get them, I've sold literally thousands of suppressors. I can't think of one person that's ever called me and been like, this is stupid. I don't know why I did this.
Right.
It's never. But I've had multiple people tell me like I just had a customer the other day. He texted me. He goes, hey Matt, I just want to let you know I got my all 3 suppressors I bought. Thank you so much for making me buy all 3 right away.
Yep.
That shit's cool because like I said, I don't have people call me pissed off like I did selling cars or my transmission's broke. I bought this a month ago. What the hell?
Yep.
It's
sorry, buddy. Sold as is.
Yeah. It's hey Matt, can I shoot this on this or hey, I kind of think I want a 22 now. Like, what do I got to do?
Yep.
So,
because you said when at the beginning of the podcast, you said you guys set up a trust fund.
Yep.
Like a trust form.
Yep.
So, does that? Okay. So, say I buy a Banish 30.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, this is fucking badass.
Yep.
I love it. This is great. I waited my 6, 8, 9 months, however long it took to get the suppressor. I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is fucking badass. I really want, a 22 or a 223
yep.
or a 46 for my 450 Bushmaster.
Yep.
And do I have to wait again every
yep.
time you buy one? So if you even think that maybe you'd want one for your 450 Bushmaster and one for your 30 calibers and everything else, you generally just tell them, get them both.
I tell everyone, truly, if you can financially make it work, if you think like, God, I really would like one for a 22 and that, or you have a couple guns, and I'm not saying, like I have 6, I'm not telling you got to go buy 6 suppressors out of the gate. But if you are a guy that like, I've been wanting suppressors, I want something for this and this, if you can make it work, buy them both at the same time or buy all 3 or whatever it is, because we do like payment plans, not because people can't afford it, because it's, we think it's just as dumb as you that you got to wait. So, you can pay for it over 4 months if you buy one can. If you buy more than one can, I can do a little bit more payments to keep the wife happier. Like I said, just not give me $2,000 to wait 9 months to then get what you paid me $2,000 for. You know, and it's obviously not like you're paying me $2,000, but it's still
buying,
as a consumer,
paying. Mm-hmm.
That's what you felt like. I gave you the money. That's when your
product.
Internal clock starts. That's just how humans are. That's just how it. Like, there's no way around that. So
that was. I'm glad you brought that up. So you guys do a layaway type program or a payment program.
Yep.
So if I come to you and say, Matt, I really want a Banish 46 and Banish 30.
Yep.
And we go through it and we're like, okay, here's doing the paperwork and everything else. I can, during that waiting time, say it's 4 or 5, 6 months. However, what is the average right now?
8 months right
8
now.
months right now.
Is average, and like I said, it varies. When it started, it was paper submissions were honestly about 7 to 9, kind of what we've been seeing now. There's a time where it went up to 12 to 14 months. Mm-hmm. E-forms came out, and if anyone follows suppressors, they know this whole e-form deal has been a fiasco. And ATF guaranteed 90-day wait times, guaranteed for. That's what it's going to be. We have it set up. We're ready. It's 90 days. That's what they told all of us dealers, everyone in the country, 90, and then I said, nah, I'm telling you, I'm at 90 days turns to 9 months.
That's how the government works.
Definitely annoying. And that's probably the toughest thing for me because, like I said, once it's submitted, it's not in my hands. It's not in Silence or Central hands. We're waiting for ATF. And most people are very cool about that. Every once in a while you get the guy, well, I want it now. And it's like, Mr. Customer, it makes a hell of a lot more sense for me as a salesman for you to have that can. I want you to have it too.
Yeah.
But we got to wait, and generally like, okay, like I get it. Like I understand. Yep. But yeah, like with the payments, you can start for $199 down to start the paperwork, to get everything going, to be submitted to the ATF, and then kind of, pay for the rest while you're waiting for it. So for sure.
That's pretty fucking
Yep, and I said, and we do it too, if you're forced, 4 payments on one suppressor. If you buy 2, you can do 6 payments. If you're buying 3 or more, I can do 8 payments, and there's no interest, there's no fees. Like I said, it's not because I'm telling you can't afford it, or maybe that's what allows you to afford the second or the third. It's like, hey, I can afford that in my monthly budget. I just don't have the $3,500 today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is another cool thing because there are a couple other places that do it, but I know like one other big place they do payments, you're paying like credit card fees interest on that, and we're straight up zero. It's the same penny at the end. It's
more like layaway rather than a payment.
Exactly. Yep.
System. So that's pretty fucking cool. Yep. That does. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that they get a little sticker shock when they see silencers, and they're like, "Oh fuck, dude!" Like, I don't know, $600, $700, $800 for whatever,
or they're like
$1,000,
or they're like,
whatever.
well, I spent $500 on my Ruger American. Why did I put $1,000 suppressor on it?
Yeah,
I get that a lot too, but you also got to think. I just tell those people are just thinking, okay, so you bought that Ruger American, but you put a Vortex or a Leupold, you put a nice scope on it. You spent another $500-$600 on a scope. Well, you can spend $1,000 and use on every single gun you own.
Exactly.
It's not tied to one gun. You give me $1,000, or if you're buying a VX5 or a VX6, you can give me the same money you paid to put the scope on your one gun. You can use on every single gun you own. It'll be the most used accessory you own for your rifles. It just will be.
And that's the thing when it comes to buying guns. I would much rather buy it because the cheaper guns are getting so good now.
Yeah, they are, which is great about like all the
thing.
Custom shit is they gotta make the production be good.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of these cheaper guns like the Ruger American, the Tikka, the Savage Axis, all these quote unquote cheaper guns, and I think Winchester XPR.
Yep,
that's another great rifle for damn cheap. And it's like they're getting so good at these cheap guns that, in my opinion, for me, it's like that frees me up to buy better accessories for that gun. Mm-hmm. If that gun's a 1 MOA gun out of the box, even if they can't guarantee it because it's a cheap gun, like we can't guarantee 1 MOA, but you're going to be in that ballpark.
98% of them shoot that.
98% of them shoot that. So I'm like, fuck yeah, that's good enough kind of thing.
For sure.
Now I can buy a nice Leupold scope for it, and now I can buy a Banish 30 for it.
Yep.
And that frees me up to buy. Like, if you're talking a $500 gun and you're getting a 3 MOA gun, it's like that's not good. That's shit.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking here. So it's like, in my opinion, buying a cheaper gun, if I'm going to skimp anywhere, I'm going to maybe skimp on the gun itself, just because they're getting pretty darn good. And now that frees me up to buy other shit that I want.
Yeah, you can buy a Christensen's MPR for $3,000 and you can put a task on there and you can't see, it's dark out and you can't see 200 yards. Well, it doesn't do shit, you know, like it's for sure. No, and like that is the cool thing about cheaper guns. Just, I don't even like to call them cheaper, but like, and I know, I personally know
less expensive.
One of our employees, and I won't name the high end brand, but he has a Ruger American. He put a Boyd stock in it, which is another cool thing. If you spend less money, if you want to have a fancy gun or put it in a chassis, you can maybe have, like you said, spend the money on customizing or making your own gun or whatever. Like I know he's got, the Ruger American got on sale on Black Friday for $415, put a nice scope on it, and it shoots better than his $3,000 custom carbon gun. Yeah. And he's got $1,400 into the whole setup.
Yep.
And he's like, that's what I shot my elk with, because I bought that big gun thinking it's cool and all that, but he's like, that Ruger American shoots better than anything I own, you know, and it's just.
And it's what you shoot most.
And I'm not trying to hate on anything. I have some high end. I have both. I have a Savage Axis in the truck right now, and I have a Christensen in the truck right now. Honestly, I am not like, oh, you got to buy super high end guns, or you got to buy cheap. Like,
I think everyone should have a high end custom gun if you're really into shooting.
Yep,
you should, just because they are fucking cool.
Yep,
they look cool. They feel cool. Everything's nice, it's like like buying like a $20 pair of jeans from Walmart work, but at the same time, like $190 pair of Sitka pants, those are pretty nice too.
Yeah,
you don't need them, but they're nice to have.
Exactly, it makes you feel good.
Makes you feel good.
It does.
Looks good, and it's the same thing with guns. It's like, I have my workhorse pants, like my Wranglers, my workhorse pants I wear to work every day. And I'm in every day, but then I have my nicer pants too that I wear out and do other things with. It's like kind of the same thing. It's like I have my workhorse guns, my Ruger American. It's my workhorse. I throw that fucker in the truck and bebop around and have at it, and that's my workhorse. But then I also have maybe I have a nice gun that I take to the range and show off a little bit. And say,
that's
like,
your
this
baby.
is fucking badass. Like, I clean it more than I do my Ruger.
Yeah. I just get out and look at it.
I pull it out and look at it. This is nice.
Yeah,
I hold it.
I
work the action. There's nothing like working a smooth custom action. Just like that, the sound, the feel, and you're like, this is fucking just made and built better. But then you grab that Ruger American, you just grab it, and you're like, you're like, it just works though.
Yeah,
and
that's like you said, it's like, oh, it's smooth, it's machined super, all that's cool. But and like I just bought the new AR for my thermal and stuff, and I don't need to, but like there's part of me it's like, well, I spent all this money on a thermal and stuff. I was talking to my wife, like, I'm gonna get this Cerakoted and spend money on that. She's like, well, why? You don't need to do that. It's like, I don't at all, but kind of the same thing,
cool,
it's like, it's cool though. Yeah, like it's like, if I'm gonna spend all this money on a thermal stuff, I might as well have a sweet gun to put it on.
And that comes back to like the suppressor thing too, where it's like you buy a cheaper gun, you put a higher end optic on it, whether it's a Leupold or a higher end Vortex or an Athlon on it or whatever else, and because you want to have nice glass, so you do that. And then you buy a Banish 30. Yes, you can take that nice optic and you can take that off of that gun and put on a different gun. You can swap it around. That's the nice thing about buying high-end accessories. You can just take them off and put them on other guns. But I don't like moving around my optics a whole lot. But I would probably take my suppressor off and put it on every different gun.
For sure.
Just to have on there. You can swap that out without with minimal changes to your
No, for
gun.
sure. Because once you start, because I get people that, they do I got an AR, it's the loudest gun, and that's the only gun that I want to shoot. I tell people, like, buy a 30 cal if you have. There are guys that they don't shoot bigger stuff. There are some that they only do varmint hunting, but talk to a lot of guys that have bigger guns. It's like, just get one that can run on everything, because you will swap it back and forth, because it is not hard to go. It is literally 10 seconds unscrew, 10 seconds screw on, and that's it. You spent 30 seconds to now it's suppressed, and once you start, you won't ever go back. Like, me and my buddies joke around, like, I'm a pussy around guns now. Like, I don't like loud guns. Like, if we're going and shoot, it's like, you don't have a can? Like, ew. Like, not like I'm above it, but it's just.
Fucking peasant.
Yeah. It's like once you shoot with it and you, like, sustain shooting too, and, like, you have been able to dump a mag and talk to your buddy just talking, and your ear's not ringing after you shoot your Win mag 10 times and your shoulder doesn't hurt. It's just like, oh, why would I ever go back?
Right. Yeah. And even with the tactical crowd, where if they're shooting mostly 5.56, say it's a guy that's like, he just likes doing his tactical thing and going out and doing flat range LARPing. That's what my brother and I've heard that somewhere. I think Grant Thumb says that a lot too. Like, oh, I'm going to be a flat range LARPer today, and it's kind of one of those things. Like, yeah, you go to the flat range and you just lay the dick down with your AR, and even those tactical guys, you would benefit from having a 30 caliber because an AR-10, like, there's a lot of
300 blackout.
300 blackout.
Blows my mind how many people have blackouts. They got a 300 blackout, and they, like, maybe they just don't pay attention to, like, but, like, that was literally built for suppressors. Yes. That is why that is there.
Yep.
It's it is a suppressed round. That is what it's for.
Yeah.
So you can cycle an AR with subs, and then you can be that.
That thing
subs are
quiet,
yeah.
too.
I mean, if you're running a 300 blackout on subs, your actions allow us part about your gun. Like,
right? No shit.
Like,
yeah, it is.
Run your AR empty, and that's pretty much what it sounds like. Which is badass. But
yeah, it's a good. It seems like a really good thing. I've been wanting to run a suppressor for a long time. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm one of those guys that you talk about. It's like, just need to get over that hump.
Yeah, get over that. And I was the same way too. And even like I think it's a lot better now. But like kind of the taboo-ness of it, like I don't want to call it, but like I think that's gotten way better too, just with industry people using them, or just even talking about it and the advantage of it. It's not. I remember kind of growing up, it's like, what does that guy need that for? Because I just didn't know. But I said, once you get over the hump and you do the one, you won't ever. If you shoot and you actually like shooting, you will never go back. Yeah, it's just. And
a lot of people say, like, why do I need to run a suppressed rifle when I'm out in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, hunting elk? It's like, no one cares if it's loud. You're sure, but then you look at like the coyote hunters, the predator hunters. A lot of times, like just last night, we were hunting, behind someone's house, and we're all running suppressed. If the dogs came out to play, then the neighbor wouldn't have been waking them up.
I've literally got permission because of suppressors. Like and people that I just know, that like. I literally had one farmer, he tells me, like, Matt, I don't care at all, but could you come to my place right away at dark? Or could you tell me so I can tell my dad that, they have farms next to each other. So he's not worried, or I'm not waking up so I can put my dog away, or whatever it is, which is super common. But I've literally told that guy, like, hey, I have a suppressor just so you know, like, you're not going to hear it. So he goes, oh, well, I don't care then. Just whenever, or like, and we'll call him too. It literally... It'll help that because
it's gotten you permission.
Especially varmints, coyotes, generally most people are pretty cool unless they do it themselves. They want to hunt their own land, or they have their own permit, or, they have a buddy that hunts it, whatever. But that's what I've noticed. That's the biggest barrier is they don't care at all that I'm hunting coyotes, but it's the fact that I'm out there at midnight and I'm making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But if I can tell them, like, hey, I can be 100 yards from the house and you literally won't know I'm there.
You won't wake up.
Like, you're not going to wake up. They're like, oh, sure, yeah, cool.
Yeah, have at it.
Yeah. Please do. Yeah. Yep.
So go to Silencer Central, buy a suppressor, get permission.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Problem solved.
Problem solved. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, like,
cool.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a thing. Like, if I had a bunch of land and someone asked me to hunt coyotes, I'd be like, that'd be cool and all. Like, I'd love for you to do that. But, man, I just don't want to hear gunshots at midnight.
The dogs are, like I said, John, there's someone out in your field. They just don't want to deal with that. And if you can...
There's a bunch of gunshots happening, going off in your field. Like,
for sure.
Yeah,
and again,
Jerry's not going to hear
not
you
like
from down
we're
the road, so.
Not making any noise, but again, if you're 500 yards away, you're not going to know.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not. Like I said, it's quiet. It's a 22 sub. CB is, if anyone doesn't have a suppressor and you can go buy a little CB 22 and a bolt action, 22, shoot that. It's going to be pretty similar.
Yep.
You know, even honestly less because you don't, again, that 22 doesn't have, but that crack is farther away from you too, you know, so it's even like when that sound breaks, it's not right at your muzzle. So
yeah, you're not completely sound, but man, it helps a lot.
Yep.
So, all right, man. Well, I think that's a good place to cut it there. Did you want to put out like, your social media so people can get a hold of you if they want to?
Yeah, I'm not. I could get a lot better. I mean, I definitely have a lot of stuff I could post and stuff. But what is my? Just Matthew Hoines on Facebook, and then on Instagram. Just actually, I don't know where I can find it.
You can just go to your profile and click on the top deal.
It just says Matthew Hoines. So it might just be straight up Matthew Hoines.
Dang, man.
Tells you how good I am at social media.
Yeah, right. But I mean, if you're out there listening, you want to get in, get talking to someone about suppressors and everything else, like obviously.
Yep.
Get a hold of
Matthew Hoines. Yep.
Yeah, you
Matthew.
Straight up Matthew Hoines.
Yep.
There you are.
Just straight up.
Yep. Salesman at Sounds Central.
Yep.
You're a husband, father, and hunter.
That's right.
That's right.
That's who I am.
So get a hold of Matt, get yourself a suppressor, get some permission pieces, go kill some coyotes, and you're going to be helping out the deer herd too.
Yep, exactly.
It's a win-win for everybody. So.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I really appreciate it too. It's
been a great
cool.
conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, man. We'll probably have you on again sometime. You know,
bet.
this is going to be probably, I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this. Cause
for sure.
And
we can talk more because we kind of skipped. We can definitely, whenever we can dig deep into it too. If anyone's ever asked questions or like come back on and talk about this because you skipped this, you idiot, or whatever.
Yeah, right. Or if you get a bunch of messages after this and people are asking the same questions like, Jake, we need to talk about this.
For sure, yeah.
Right,
and
buddy,
and too, like I said, and you can go online and buy, but it really is easier to call. Feel free just to ask for Matt or just call anyone in general because you're going to have questions. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
You're going to have questions. Just call us. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It helps us out, and it gives you, that contact to be able to call or text if you have issues or where the hell's my suppressor hung. You guys been seeing whatever it is,
Right.
So
absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, man.
You bet.